Hey guys, welcome back. As promised, today we are going to be taking a look at the conversation that I had with the individual that I believe was trying to rip off the game store over the brick. That individual being Elliot from tcgevolutions on Whatnot. So if you haven't watched the premiere prior to this, go ahead and watch that. I'll put it. It'll be the first link in the description down below, or I'll try and put one up here. You're gonna want to pause this video, go watch that, so that you have the context for the conversation here. It's a long one, so buckle up, get some popcorn. Keep in mind here, I don't believe him the entire time he's talking to me, but I'm still trying to be nice to him so that he would actually provide me with the footage that I'm looking for, and any other information. Again, with these phone calls, I usually try to let them talk for as long as they want to, and this is no exception. He definitely wanted to talk. So for all of you that want the entire context, want to know exactly what went on, here it is in its entirety. Enjoy. Hello, how's it going?
Hello. It's been going, man. What's up? I was so I got a lot of questions. One of them being, how did you track back my channel?
Well, actually, that was like one of the last things that I found, but I guess I was just overlooking the little clips. But I've talked to the game store already, and I just wanted to hear what you're saying. I've read like the email conversation, and then there's some stuff that just doesn't add up. So I wanted to get some clarification from you. That's all right.
Sure. Do you mind if I ask your relationship to the store?
Don't have one other than the fact that I've talked to them already.
So
I've never purchased from them. I've never.
Okay.
That's
what brought you
it.
into the story and stuff?
Mostly, they reached out to me about it, asked if I knew anything about it, if it was an issue or what was going on. I think they've reached out about a couple other things that I haven't looked into yet, but this one seemed like a little bit of a weird thing going on. So I just wanted to I guess clarify this before anything else.
Yeah. I mean, so the short answer would be obviously, right. I'm not gonna advertise at the Resealed, right? Because it's liabilities and stuff and stuff. What I would say, in my personal opinion, right? Because obviously I can't speak fact on the product, is in the videos it kind of shows it. Like obviously with Pokemon product, there's mistakes. You know, there's times where people have had mixed, two sets and one thing, and it turned out to be legit.
For sure.
Sometimes you're missing cards upside down. Depending on where packs are printed. So like, if you compare two packs from across the world, they might have a different ink on the front. There's obviously a million things that go into it. The things that red flagged us more than anything was the hollow. So on black code cards, obviously, verse hollow, if it's not a V or up or anything, they just weren't there in like almost the entire night. We just
so they were the wrong code cards.
So the code card, yeah, so almost pretty much right. Like it should have been a white code card. But what threw us off is, so like most booster boxes are pretty even, like 18, 20, 16, 16. Like they tend to have some level of consistency. But when it came to those booster boxes, it was just, it was insanely apparent. We didn't realize it. So obviously when you're on stream and you're going and you're going and you're going, you're not really thinking about people's hits. I'd say it was towards the end of our stream when my co-host had noted to me, because he does the packaging, and we when we package people's orders, we penny sleeve all their hits by order. So like all the things together, right? All the hollows. And he had noticed as the night was going on, no hollows, right? And then he pointed out to me to go back and look at the stream, and we'd pulled these we were going through all these clips, and you'd see a black code card and there'd just be no hit. Obviously when you're whipping an entire booster box, you got people in line. I wasn't really thinking about it too much in the moment, but when we watched back on those clips, it was so apparent. The second thing we noticed was there's an adhesive on the packs, which we sent photos. Again, sometimes you'll get Pokemon products with like some type of like, they seal the packs and stuff, but this was like, I've never.
Yeah, there shouldn't be like actual glue. Like sometimes the heat will like press it together, and it'll kind of like people will think it's glue if there's like strands and stuff like that. But
yeah.
So I've seen that. I like the only thing
Um,
like myself like reading through all of the information and like the stuff that you sent. Like I get the impression that you messed up and like maybe you were just trying to bait for like a partial refund or a refund on the order.
oh no, so I'll be transparent with you.
Yeah.
I think I'll super transparent about you. So where we were in our take was quite simple. It was we didn't want the second inventory. So again, I don't want to sit here. So we didn't go live. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
post on Reddit on stuff because we're doing a company, they're doing a company, and let's say we're wrong. I don't want to. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
get sued. The things that frustrated me on my correspondence with them was I provided them evidence, and on the second response, rather than refuting or acknowledging, it was one of those things where it was like, "I'm sorry you feel that way." Um, I mean, that was the thing that made us respond that went, "Are you you should have. There should be a level
Mm-hmm.
of concern where it goes. We'll investigate the manner. We're going to cancel the product we're sending you so we can track the product. Instead, it was, we wouldn't do that. It's bad for rep. Blah 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 blah. That's what annoyed us. Again, I wasn't searching for financial. It was more the sense that like
Mm-hmm.
refund the order. The first order we've already dealt with, so that's obviously. But I don't want that second order. And then also, if you're going to replace and cancel my order, I need you to send me something faster that isn't what you've sent me, right? Like obviously if what you're
Right.
sending me is from the same batch, but you're gonna brick my streams. That week
And
killed us.
they
It was
also don't
one of
want you to
those-
end up like doing the same thing within like another order, like as in like you're not going to be happy with
Yeah.
it, or if there's something that's off about it whatsoever. So
Yes.
I guess like the first thing like where you were talking about the problematic packs, I guess you were saying that like it was a common and sometimes a rare in the rare slot,
Yeah.
but
So sometimes there was a couple packs we opened that just had commons. So not
okay,
even a reverse. So you had straight commons.
okay.
Sometimes
Do you have the full video? Was it all
so we
one
don't. We
stream?
took it. So it was one stream, but we took it down because obviously we
Okay,
didn't want people going through it and being like, "What is this? What is that?"
okay.
We just clipped what we clipped, and then what we pretty much like we
This is
spoke to
like
in how we have it.
the three examples that you did take though. They were all rares, so it was just basically the code card that was wrong in those.
Yeah, just that was our
Mm-hmm.
takes. Like we spoke to like people and stuff. We did our research, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what we came to the realization towards when it was over was, um, it sucked. It happened. We spoke to the people that bought that night, and we kind of like we ended up sending them stuff and helping them out and stuff and working them because obviously,
I mean, if they were just
we just
missing hollows, like
well, it's
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 not a big
more. It's
deal,
not
right?
that they were just missing hollows. It's that we can't. There's a certain level of certainty you want to say to a customer.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't say to certainty whether it was resealed or not, which puts us in this awkward situation. You wouldn't sell someone a burger that you think could or couldn't be like bad meat. You just wouldn't sell it, if that
Yeah,
makes sense, right? You'd only sell something you fully believed, and we crossed that. We
yeah.
also advertise who we buy our product from quite heavily. So during the like again, it was a landmine field. Our takeaway was really simple. I'm not looking for clout, so we didn't go post on Reddit or Facebook or anywhere to like the emails or the expose. Our logic was, um, we looked at pursuing illegal options, getting everything tested, and what ended up being our turnaround was, I mean, we won't buy product from them. We didn't feel like they handled it professionally. We have connections at some of the other online stores, like some of the other websites we buy from that are really legit and constant. So we just, we even spoke to some of them, and our takeaway when everything was done was unfortunate situation that occurred, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not worth migraine.
Yeah. So
If someone personally asked me if I would source from that store again, my answer would be no. Would I declare that on stream? Again, it's not worth
mhm.
the headaches. But again, it's an awkward situation because obviously, in my personal opinion, they're resealed. I mean, there
Yeah.
was a million red flags with them. The code cards, the missing cards, the hit rates.
So yeah, you
There was
mentioned that in your second email that some of the packs didn't have the correct number of cards, but like I didn't you didn't send clips of those. And
so
also
like
like
again. So,
even if it was like a weird number of cards in some packs, like that just happens sometimes.
no, exactly.
Even
Like
recently I
exactly.
had a pack with 4 code cards in it. It wasn't resealed. It was
Yeah.
just they messed up.
No.
And
Like again,
same with
that's
like I've had multiple hollows where the uncommon should be like there's just like a lot of weird things that can happen that isn't necessarily that.
and that's exactly our take, right? That's where we're
Mhm.
at, where it's like there's enough red flags where if there's
Yeah.
smoke there might be fire, but I'm not a firefighter. So
Mhm.
again, we chose to you know I don't agree with how they handled the email correspondence. You know, it would have been as simple as saying we'll investigate it and get back to you. We'll cancel the order.
Yeah. I
Instead, the
mean, like
response was,
he came in like a little bit aggressive too, but
I mean, true. Again,
especially in
we
the
were
second
pretty
one.
much our second one. Yeah, our response was, and that in again the response was matching the. It was more like a shock, I guess you'd say, where it was like,
Yeah.
what was that?
Because you
That
started
first
this
email, like we
conversation
just got
with
like,
like, I don't want to get sued, but also like you were threatening to sue
yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, because again, our take was really simple. It's like it's customer
Yeah.
service, right? I did like 10 years of customer service in my life. It's just, even if the customer sounds crazy and they're full of shit, you just smile and wave and say, "We'll look into it and get back to you." And that would have been we'd have dropped it there. But it was more the fact we submitted evidence, and it was like he didn't open them. He didn't even address the code
It's a
card.
pretty like severe accusation.
I mean,
Though.
again, fair,
Like
right? Like
clearly,
he's probably going, that's his, you know, reputation is on the line, like people's income. So again, that was our take. You know, obviously we're not trying to hurt like a company and stuff. There's,
not to
like,
mention the fact
you
that
know,
he also had more boxes going to you. So like if somebody hears that and
mhm.
like they're gonna get like a chargeback on all that product or something like that, like they just don't
Yeah.
want to deal with it
Like again,
because
like
like the
in the
margins aren't
moment,
that
obviously.
great at a game store.
Oh no,
You get
yeah, like
overhead
yeah,
and
but
everything
like
else. So
yeah, so like again, like we have connections to some like local Pokemon shops. Like we're aware of that. Like right, they don't have a ton of leeway, especially with how hard distributors are right now and limits and stuff and ordering, and like a lot of them are buying from third parties to then sell with really slim margins. So like again, there's a lot of we have sympathy, which is why we pretty much decided, you know, we're not going to go post this. We're not going to make a TikTok video or YouTube video or post it on Reddit or anything. We pretty much just left it with, you know, do I think they were personally? Do I think they were resealed? Yes, but that's as far as it's going to go. It's not worth the headache. You know, I would never advertise to avoid the store because it just doesn't feel worth anyone's trouble. I've heard some people have good experiences with them. I've heard some people have some like, you know, they're okay. I wouldn't go with them. I'd go Smoke and Mirrors or Safari Zone instead. So like again though, but it's you kind of hit it there, and that's kind of where we're at. Where it's Pokemon is so inconsistent. You know, whether it's error packs, missed wrong, like there's a million things that can go wrong with variables. There were red flags that I've never experienced when we did research. We hadn't really experienced either. But even then, when it came to it, my take is personally, yeah, I think they're resealed. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm not going to make a factual claim because I'm not trying to get A, sued back, and B, we left it where we left it. They got their product back in return. We didn't try and refund the initial transaction because obviously we received that product and we'd opened it, and we left it there. Again, I do agree with you.
so like it was pretty vague. Like, and you mentioned that some of the packs had mid-tier hits, but you didn't show or describe like how many hits were in each box. Like you didn't.
Yeah.
Was it you didn't pull anything good in the 12 boxes?
So like in the 12 boxes, I'd say the highest hit was trainer gallery hits. So like
So
you know,
like your
FGC
Pikachu's
players,
and Charizards
like,
and
yeah, like Pikachu's and stuff. But for the rest of the outer side of the trainer gallery,
there was no full art, secret rares, hyper rares, alt arts.
none of them.
Zero.
There was zero, like yeah, and that was the thing. Don't get me wrong, Lost Origins and Poet, you could open 5 cases of Silver Tempest and not pull a Lugia alt art. Like it's Pokemon to an extent. It's gambling. But like again, you know, our take when everything was said and done, it was quite simple. You know, I think there's red flags there.
Like,
I think, you know, I don't believe that the product they sent to us came from a distributor directly, and that, in my opinion, I would be dumbfounded. I think that came from a connection that wasn't a distributor that's sending products straight to Pokemon. That would be my guess.
yeah.
Because
Does what not have access to the full stream?
I mean, they might.
a-
We took the stream down intentionally,
Okay.
so like I'm not
Would
100%
you-
sure. Because again, we didn't. You know,
Would
our take
you-
was
Could you request that they
I
send it
mean,
to
I
you?
can send it. Yeah, I can send an email. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just-
No,
I-
I'd just
again,
like to
I'll-
watch the
I'll
whole
take
thing. Just like if you open 12 boxes on stream, like, and like, I kind of have a hard time believing that it was that bad to open 12 boxes, and then like the 11th box in, you're still opening it, and like
So
even the
we had a
people
guy
like,
back-
not saying that the people that are watching are necessarily going to be paying attention the whole time or there the whole time, but like for them to not say anything and you guys to
I
not
mean,
just
again,
like think like all of a sudden.
It's kind of hard though. It's kind of hard for the viewer to what the viewers. Like, a viewer's not really going to make an accusation of a reseal as long as, like, you know, and you could open 6 cases and not pull an alt art or pull a secret rare or rainbow or gold. Booster boxes don't have guaranteed pull rates, so like again, you know, our take was quite simple. Like, I don't agree with how they handled it. Um, if I was making a guess, an educated guess, I don't think those products came from a distributor in any sense of the world. And I think you'd be hard pressed for them to prove that it came from a direct distributor and not a third party vendor who maybe has a distributor or something. Again, again, think don't think we have any. I mean, we have no intent. We pretty much moved on and let it go.
Okay.
Like
That's
again,
the thing
I
too.
see.
I was looking. I've seen the pictures that you sent with the glue on the packs, and like I find it also kind of hard to believe that it took 12 boxes to realize that there was glue on there.
I mean,
Like, and then at the same time, like, why? I don't understand why someone would rip open the entire pack in order to have to glue it where the glue is.
again,
Not to mention
again.
how they would put that much glue. Like,
I mean, again, it's double faceted. If I mean, I don't have the answer.
so like if
We debated.
you can see where I'm
We
like a little
debated.
bit suspicious though, because like
I mean,
if
again,
you somehow
again,
open 12 boxes and you don't notice this glue, but then like afterwards you do, and then you have examples
again,
where you're pulling like video clips with the wrong code cards, but then like
again,
in the video clips, there's no video clip that we can look at where we can actually see that it's resealed, like the glue on it or anything.
I mean, there's multiple issues there. The first issue is you're not gonna be able to see that glue on a whatnot stream. The quality's not there. I think it's not Twitch, right? The bit rate is substantially lower. You're streaming in
Yeah, it
like
looked like it was
max
gobbed on there pretty
720p.
good though.
And
Like surely
so like
you'd have to
again,
see some of it at some point in opening 12 boxes.
uh, so like, I mean, again, like I get the argument. I'll take quite comfortably
Yeah.
was
The
we've
only problem
never.
is like, and their argument can be that like, if you're only sending pictures of it later on, maybe you put the glue on there yourself,
No,
like after the
100%.
stream, or
Again, that was our take, right? Like we don't get me wrong, like we spoke to in-house counsel. That was our take. Where there's too many, like we don't have a camera that watches open products, set it up, and then go live. So the argument can be made, right? Like we don't have a security camera watching us. So the argument can be made: did you do it, then go live, then accuse someone else? There was a million obstacles to jump through that
were the
wasn't
boxes
worth.
sealed?
I mean,
Were the
the
cases
box,
sealed?
yeah, the cases were sealed, but everyone like, it's not hard to buy that tape.
No, it's not her. We've seen that before.
So like, like again, don't
So
get me
then,
wrong.
and there wasn't
I
anything.
get like,
There was nothing fishy. Like they didn't like remove the tape and put more tape on or something like that. Like,
no, but also I'll be honest with you. We do extensive research before we buy product from places, and Over the Brick has glowing reviews. I said it in my first email. I didn't see a single person on Reddit, online, Twitter, Facebook say a negative thing about them. So when we cracked the product, we didn't really put any like, you know what I mean? Like when you're not looking for something, like you're not looking for something. So I had no suspicion of whatever, which is another one of the reasons. This would be different if it was like, let's say it was a store that was famous for reselling, like Amazon. Like, you know how Amazon 10 people's reputation are like, you're gonna get fake shit. Uh, um, like this wasn't that. So our take was
right?
shrug.
It makes no sense
I
for
don't know.
them to do it whatsoever. But
No, exactly right. They've got a brick and mortar store. They're not just some online. They're not like an online store that can change their name and move on to the next place. Like they're a brick and
yeah.
mortar attached to their brand and stuff. Which again,
Not
which
to
is why I
mention,
was
like,
about
if
to
you don't
say,
hear it from anyone else, like, and then they would have like resealed too.
yeah. So
Even
like again, and
even for
that was our
anyone,
take.
the effort to go through to reseal something
Yeah, right. Because what's the profit
of that
margin? Like,
price, yeah.
which is why I said in an email, I don't believe for a second that Over the Brick resealed packs. That was we never once accused them. Well, my accusation was more simple. The products they purchased those from were not legitimate. That was what we were saying. It wasn't that they purchased, it wasn't that they sold knowingly, right? There was no intent, no malice intent. It was the fact that I don't believe those came from a distributor. I believe those came from a third party source. That third party source, fucking avoid them because those aren't legit boxes. That was our take. Because again, I mean, you obviously know, like, obviously you're in the space. Distributors are hard to get access to. The product limits are there, especially when you're trying to buy something that's not most commonly in print, like Lost Origin booster boxes. It's going to be hard to source inventory. I doubt those came from a distributor that was connected directly to Pokemon. I severely doubt it. But again, like we said in the email, I don't believe they had malice intent. I don't believe they had malice intent. You know, like if we were to take it to court, we're Florida, they're Oregon. What the fuck? Like, for what? What are the damages? You know, small claims court across the country. When at the end of the day, always we took care of our customers. We made the conscious decision that they weren't somebody we want to buy with again.
Hmm.
But we also made the conscious decision that we
Can you
weren't going to
send
sit there and play them.
can you send me that as well, if you don't mind? Just like
Send you what?
what extras that you put in for your customers.
I can. A lot of it was just like on that streams. We just pretty much threw them in like booster boxes, like the build
Okay.
and battle things.
So if
Like
we
you do six
can
pack.
if we can get the stream from whatnot, then that'll all be like
I
said
mean,
on stream.
again, that's fine. I mean, it's cool that they're investigating it. I mean, obviously to them, they obviously thought there was something off about it. But I mean,
Yeah.
again, our
I
take
just
is pretty.
I'm not they're not necessarily investigating it. I'd just like to see it.
I mean, fair. Like I'll talk to my business partners about it. Again, I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know how far they want to go with it, just because the fact that like obviously this
I
isn't all
mean,
public knowledge. Because and then if it does become public knowledge, does everything else we open on our channel, our reputation, get tied to the fact that, like you've already said,
I'm like a strong
like
believer that everything that's ever streamed on whatnot or any platform like that, that it all should remain at least on there for a certain amount of time, a month or two.
I mean, I think under certain situations we would have. Like, again, it's like I said to them in the email. I don't believe they had malice intent. Sorry, my laptop's about to die. I don't believe they had malice intent. I think that if you went back to them and asked if they bought that product from a direct distributor, and
Mm-hmm.
then they'd either say no or they'd say yes and not be able to prove it. And that's just in my opinion right there. I don't think the boxes that we received could be traced back to a distributor. I think they would be traced back to a third party source. Again, that's really where it is. That really where it ends for us. Like again, we have no intention of posting on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit because it's not worth it. Like we respect, like it's a brick and mortar store. They have a high community rating. If the boxes were sold to us, well, the boxes were sold to us. There was no malice intent. I don't agree with the customer service email, but I'm also not about to publicly flame a place because I didn't like the tone in an email. When,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you perceived my tone was more aggressive. That wasn't my intention, but that then okay, now okay, cool. So he was responding. He was matching my energy. Obviously, I didn't mean to admit that energy, but it was more in the moment. We were pretty frustrated and confused. But when we took cooler heads prevail approach, and when we were finished, it pretty much went hippie would it be. We're glad they refunded and got the product back. I mean, even if we'd received the product, our plan was just to send it back to them. It did suck for us on a financial situation because we then had to source product at a pretty exorbitant rate. Because obviously we don't want to cancel streams and stuff. We're like a growing channel trying to grow a community, so canceling streams looks kind of like pretty bad. So again, my take is my take from this was, opinion wise, I don't think they were legit. But again, we might have just had, an error case, right? Two cases that came from the
Mm-hmm.
exact same place, the exact same time that were just wrong. You know,
I mean, that's usually the way.
again,
If you get something weird going on, like usually within at
yeah,
least the same case, it's gonna have the same thing going on.
and
So
like that's
like
the
if the
issue.
two
Again,
cases came off the same palette,
yeah,
then
and that was our take. Again, this not like Pokemon cards aren't like there's no federal board of like there's no standards right by Pokemon. The quality's all over the place, and that was our take.
mhm.
Again, would I buy from over the book again? No, but that's because like you have a negative experience somewhere. There's no need to. We have other places with great relationships that we have. We'd never flame them. We didn't flame them. Even on our stream, I believe it was like two streams later, somebody asked us about Over the Brick because we mentioned where we buy product from when we go live. And then we said we were going to have Lost Origins for what we were doing, and then we didn't have Lost Origins. We'd switched it back to Silver Tempest, and they were like, "I thought you had another order from Over the Brick," and we just were like, "Oh, there was some shipping issues, so we're not going to have that." But all's good. Because again, even like 2 days later, our intent was, if we had if it had been a bigger issue, we'd have settled it behind closed doors. Again, we're not looking to mess anyone's livelihoods up. Our emails were never with the intent that it was like free shit. It was more, I don't want that shit coming to me. Please help us
Mhm.
out. And then what we wanted them to do was to cover the price of rush shipping to make up for the lead time of product. But that's why we never chased. Like they didn't respond to our last email. We didn't chase them.
Mhm.
We just spoke to in-house counsel and they said you could definitely pursue this. Like we did our seed funding about a month ago and we brought on a law firm at 5% of our too much information, but you get it. And they pretty much said like we had a case to an extent, but also it's not worth the time, the manpower, and you know, can you prove the chain of custody between receiving, opening, and going live, and all this other stuff? And again, our takeaway was, I don't, I don't know. You know, if I'm not a betting man, but before I'd have said 1 out of 10 chance. A 1 to 10 chance that it's resealed. After everything, I'd say like maybe 1 to 5, 1 to 2, 1 to 3. But again, we weren't confident enough that we were, hitting up Pokemon drama alert to be like, it was definitely an awkward situation. And that's kind of where we stood at. Again, you have a relationship, or you said you never bought from them, but obviously
I've never purchased from them, but like they've reached out to me. I think they sent me a few things that they wanted to. This one, I guess, related to them, but the other two, I believe, were just unrelated things that they were just keeping an eye out. Which I've done that with there's a few stores that have sent me some, I guess, like information if there's something weird going on.
Which, like, again, that's fair. That's why when you DM'd us, we had no issue with being like, yeah, we'll hop on a Discord call or something. Because, like, again, we're live right now. Again, my take is it's like really simple. And you definitely feel free to relay this information to them. We have no intent on flaming or going crazy public or anything. We pretty much were fine to leave it with that last email. Obviously, like I've disclosed to you, we have no intention of pursuing legal action based on the fact that like it's not worth time, money, and also there's a level of reasonable doubt that we can't shake. We did the research on sending packs to like a lab to see if they could test the adhesive on the back to verify like is this from Pokemon. But even if that came back, even if it came back, there's no way to prove that we didn't put it on. You alluded to it, right, and that's the issue, right? Even if we go live on socials or fake, it's just a fucking it's not worth it. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth the stress. So like, again, I don't want to sit here and act like, oh, we were being such good guys. I mean, obviously you get what I'm saying. Like, yes, there's the being a decent guy. Other side of it from a business perspective, it makes no fucking sense. We gain nothing. If we're right, for what and how much time, manpower is it going to cost? If we're wrong, we look like dickheads that taint our reputation. And we're not going to also risk flaming, a brick and mortar store that, if we were wrong, could sue us for libel and stuff. So, again, in my personal opinion, I think the boxes we received weren't legit. I think they came from a third-party source and not a distributor. If somebody asked me that while I was live or on Twitter or Facebook, my response would be, I mean, hey, man, go for it. There's over the brick. And then I would make sure then, I'd label some other, I don't want to say they're competitors, but people I prefer. Like, I rate Safari Zone quite a lot. I'm sure, like, if you're in the community, Safari Zone is, I feel like one of most people's go-tos. They're just incredible, really good, constant. And that's kind of where, we fall. Again, I don't have a beef. We're not going to do business with them, but we're also not going to go out of our way to make their lives any harder. Like, we pretty much felt comfortable with leaving it at that last email. I think you offered an interesting point. I didn't realize my first email had a tone or it was coming off aggressive. I felt like we were more just trying to inform and we were really confused. But if you picked up on tone on it, then they must have picked up on a tone on it, which kind of then explains that.
I got the like, hey, are you going to partial refund or refund us here? And then also just like, I think the evidence that you did show was just not even close to sufficient to even claim.
Which is fair. I mean, again, which again, I think that's all very fair. Again, when we saw that final email, like after we'd sent that email, we then did a ton of research and over the brick again to verify, like, had we missed something? What's that? To see, like, had we missed something or had we gone over something? And again, like, you can research over the brick to the day you die. Like, you're not really going to find angry people. Even on their website, they have a negative review on those Lost Origins booster boxes. And that negative review is like the boxes came damaged, probably because FedEx or UPS dropped them.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't... I mean, we have no ill will toward them, I won't buy product from them. But that's just because I think it's better for both parties if you just don't do business again, in my opinion. Like, I don't think they want our business.
No, I think you're probably on the same page there.
Yeah,
If I had
like
to
that's my
guess.
thing, right? Like I think it's better if both parties just kind of, you know, not even shake hands, just like, okay, and
Mhm.
we let it be. Um, Obviously, with the fact, and for transparency, the only reason I was down to talk to you about it is because, um, there was no way you would have our stream name, contact information, or have any idea what was going on unless they had reached out to you, because we know we hadn't
Yeah.
spoken to anybody. So we knew you were, in some regard, to some capacity,
I mean,
they had contacted you with
a
in
lot of
some
it
way that you
also
felt
kind of
comfortable.
like links up after I have one piece of information.
Yeah, but
Um,
like, no, I get that. It's
yeah.
just more in the sense from us, it was like,
Mhm.
I'm offering transparency that like if someone else had come up to us that didn't know, like I wouldn't disclose information I'm disclosing to you. The reason we're comfortable
Okay.
is because obviously you have some level of connection to them. Again, you know,
Yeah.
I think
Well, I mean,
everyone's freedom.
it was just before I like read through it and looked at it, it was just one of, I mean, like countless messages and stuff that I get where people are reaching out where they're concerned with something. So
I mean,
this is one of those. So it's not
I
like
mean,
it's not like this is like a BFF. I'm defending my best friends over at the game shop. It's more, I see something that's suspicious, so I wanted to get your side of it. I wanted to ask you if you had the full footage that I could look through, and that's pretty much it.
yeah. I mean,
Because
I'm assuming
it's
you'll
hard for
have,
me to actually know, like based on what you've shown in the emails and the attachments. Like,
which again, I like.
it
I'm gonna
looks
be
like you're
transparent.
purposely not showing enough.
Which
I can't
again
say that for
is
sure
it's
without seeing the entirety of the footage, but it seems like you were just like cherry picking details.
so to be
And my
transparent. So again,
impression when I read through it the first time, I was like, this is just somebody that was first trying to bait a partial refund or a refund, and then somebody that's didn't get that partial refund and is now going to threaten like lawsuits. So
I mean, and again, to be transparent with that, I mean, I think that take comes off. So like, it's multifaceted. So obviously, we have a brand to
mhm.
protect. So if I show you that entire, if I let's say I gave the entire stream went public, and then it was they sold resale product, and then a million variables go out, people won't care that we took care of it afterwards. You get what I'm saying, right? There's
I
like the
don't
same reason
see.
why.
I don't think that's necessarily an issue. Like it could end up at one point that you end up with stuff that's resealed, and
No, I get it.
you have
It's
to be
just it's
ready
more
for
just
that regardless.
yeah, which
Um,
is why I'm saying logistically and brand wise, there's a reason why we didn't just sit there and do a million things. Again, I see both sides of the argument. If the perception was we were chasing and stuff, we obviously didn't. We didn't send any more. Again, I mean, again,
yeah,
I
but I
I
mean, like
sympathize with it. We
maybe at
just,
that point, like it was like even as you said, like it was essentially an empty threat because it wasn't worth the resources
I mean, it
to follow
wasn't. I
through
think.
with
I think
it.
in the moment, it was less of an empty threat and more of a. I don't know. I mean, again, we think we were just upset, frustrated, and also we realized that like what was happening. Again, it's like I stand by it. My opinion is those were resealed. I don't think, and even in the email, I directly say, I don't believe they had malice intent. I don't believe they had intent to sell, a resale product. We're quite transparent with that fact. Even if we had, let's say, we'd gone whatever, there was no situation in which we were going to sit there and flame over the brick because we say in those emails, I don't think they did this with any negative intent. I think Pokemon product is hard to source, and more vendors are now selling product that's not coming direct from distributors. Um, And I think that's just kind of what's happening right now, which is why I do think most likely, and over the next, especially as things keep going, you're going to see more real seal product on the market. I mean, if you're in any of those Facebook groups, like those Facebook groups for Pokemon, we're in a couple of them. How often do you see posts of people buying empty booster boxes or empty this, empty that? Like, there's a resale market that is quite prominent. And where is that source? Where's that inventory going? Who's buying that inventory? Right.
I
So,
mean,
like, again,
I don't think that's necessarily like the best option. If we're
no,
gonna be sketchy resealers, we're not buying an empty Lost Origin booster box and then like scrounging through game store trash bins to find enough packs to put a box
no,
together.
like again, I sympathize that. I'm saying it's in the sense that like you have
Yeah.
people buying. I mean, again, it be what it be. Our take was quite simple. We've no issue. Like, I mean, obviously, like you'll talk to them again. Our take is quite simple. You know, We didn't mean for our tone to be what it was, you know. There was no baiting or anything. We stand by the fact we think it was resealed, but at the same time, on the same area, I have no interest in causing a massive headache for us and them. We took care of it on our end, and that was as far as it went. We were out like, you know, obviously after we refunded everyone their money and stuff and did all that good shit. Like, yeah, we're out a couple bucks, but that was it. Like, again, you know, there's no, it's not worth risking what we're trying to build here. I don't think they had malice intent. You know, I think we could have pursued it. I think we could have had the glue tested. I think we could have done 100 things. But at the end of the day, I think you addressed it instantly. Even if we provided 1,000 pieces of evidence,
well,
there's no.
I think more so just like the full transparency with like the stream itself, and if you can point out exactly where all the issues are with it, rather than
I think you're right.
Showing that like you can't show them 3 packs in clips where you got the wrong color code card, and say that 12 boxes were bad, and then also just show a separate picture of a couple packs have some glue on them.
And again,
like,
I think
especially where it's a different story if like you were trying to say like, hey, I bought these and I opened them myself at my kitchen table. There were glue on them, but where you had a live stream, and then again, you're not showing 90% of the claims.
Again, on the night when we sent the video, we took the clips, and then because we did, and I don't know if you noticed, we didn't clip them. We screen recorded. The videos are screen records because if you clip it, post to your channel, which obviously that would look really dumb. Why are we clipping what we're doing where we were at that point? So again, I think our big focus was we weren't 100% sure, but we were confident, but we didn't also want to risk a brand nightmare for ourselves and any other future product and what we were doing. I mean, again, I'm sure we could have done a million things better. I think they could have done some stuff better. But again, my takeaway when everything was said and done was just, you know, we want both parties want to do business with each other again. We've done relationships. We've probably spent upwards of 50 grand with Safari Zone. There's stores. There's a ton of vendors and stuff. We've spent a ton of fucking money with. That we've never had an issue with. No refund requests. No anythings. No nothings. We've never, with any of them. We pretty much buy from the same 3 vendors: Safari Zone, Smoke and Mirrors, and it's a lot of Safari Zone. They're just really good. Also, we're in Florida. So some of the places, like when we ship, even with like over the brick, their shipping times for us suck. But it's also because we live across the fucking world to them. Like the only way we could live any further was if we were in Key West. So like again, our stance was quite simple. I don't think there's any hesitation that either party's going to do business with each other again. We have no intention of publicly airing anything or doing any drama or anything because it's not worth it. But at the same time, I think it sucked. I think, in my personal opinion, I think the product was resealed. I don't think they resealed it. I understand the argument of like, there's not enough time, money on it. Again, I get that argument. All I know is, and again, you're impartial to this, so like, you're following what's most logically there in front of you, and I got no beef with that. All I know is from our take is we didn't put the glue on them, we didn't switch the cards out,
Okay.
But again,
I mean, like, once again, like, I will this is my separate time. I will gladly, I'll sit down and I'll watch the entire stream, to see what there is for hits per box. If you want to provide that, I think it's, I think it's in everyone's best interest, but
yeah, I mean, I'll reach out again. I have to talk to my business partners first because their view when we the day after we'd sent that email, the final email, and they didn't respond, their take was quite simple. Let's just fucking drop this and move on. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth any of that. So, I mean, like, I haven't spoken to them about the fact that I was reaching out. I was, like, going to talk to you tonight. So, again, I'll talk to them. Their take might be just leave it here, let it go. We're not doing business with them. We're not going public, let it be. Okay. Again, I don't know. I'll ask, and then if they say yeah, they're fine with that, then obviously we'll reach out to Whatnot and see if we can't get the stream. But otherwise, again, like I totally get where you're sitting from. Obviously, you're trying to be impartial here. We didn't provide enough evidence in the moment. I think we were too worried about our brand versus providing all that evidence. Hindsight's 2020. I think if we had just shown the entire evidence, I think this would be it'd be a very different story. But even then, obviously, I mean, I'm to some extent,
I mean,
I'm,
that's
I'm
essentially what it would
totally,
take for me to like to believe that
yeah,
the packs were resealed whatsoever, is to like watch it start to finish, and like at that point, if the hits are that bad to the point that you can say that like, yeah, there's something wrong with this, then I'd totally agree. Like
yeah.
maybe the glue was
Which
on there, but
I
yeah,
mean,
with,
again,
with
yeah, again, I get where you're coming from. I mean, again, I think if we were going to take this public or do something, what your input is valid. I think it's like what you're saying is like, yeah, we need to get
mhm.
our ducks in a row. But again, there's no. I mean, I'm sure you get it. What I'm saying when it comes from a business perspective, nothing is like it's $1,300. I think was our invoice on that initial order. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, give or take 100. Either way, what is the benefit of doing that? Especially we just started a relationship with someone else that's selling us like iconic mystery boxes, the ones that
No,
PokeWeb and those YouTubers open.
the terrible ones. The
No,
MJ
no, no, not the
holding,
terrible ones.
not the MJ holding ones. I mean, they're all kind of
No, not
terrible, but
yeah, no, the ones. So we're buying the Wizard of the Coast. The Wizard of the Coast ones that like guarantee a Wizard of the Coast pack at minimum.
oh, uh, no, I'm not familiar. Are they just extremely expensive?
Yeah, they're like it's like sick. We get them for like 550. We sell them for 600. It's like a $50 margin for us, um,
Yeah,
but they're
that's
like
not.
cool and
It's
fun to
like base set
open.
too.
No, when we opened them on our stream, we only pulled first edition Fossil and Jungle and a couple of base sets.
Cool.
Again, we might have just gotten really lucky, but like again, we're trying to build relationships with other like distributors and stuff. So again, it's like going out and screaming bloody murder about a company when you're trying to foster other relationships with other companies kind of makes who wants to do business with you, which is one of the last things we want to do. So again, our takeaway was quite simple. We dropped it, we let it go. If they can shoot us another email and we'll say the same thing to them where it goes, or I think all parties are happy with just not doing any business with each other again. The refund, the only thing they might not mention, the only thing that was a bit fucky is it stood at UPS for a really long time. So we did initiate a refund with our bank. But that's because it sat at UPS because they requested to bring it back for like 4 days. So we were like that's a lot of money because it was like $3,000 worth of product. So we were like, they're getting the, and we spoke to UPS. They were getting the product back. UPS wasn't sending it to us. So at that point in time, it was like, okay, well, I want my money, please. So we went to a bank, but then they issued the refund before the bank did anything. So we were like, oh, cool. So we spoke to the branch manager, and it was all done and dusted.
Yeah, shipping companies can be a treat at times. So they probably were thinking
Exactly,
the same thing. They're like, it's gonna end up delivered, even though it say it's not. But if
exactly.
it's
And
just
if, and
gonna
if, and if
stand
we,
still,
if the bank had issued a refund and the product arrived, we're committing theft if we keep the product. So again, like that's why our take the entire time was when we got confirmation that it was going back to them, we went to our bank just to get the money back, and then when the money hit, we called the bank and went, "Stop, we're good, money is issued," and the bank went, "Cool." Like we were at our bank like I think twice, but like again, I get where you're coming from. I think if we were going to do a public stink or something, sure, but it just business on the business aspect of it, it logistically makes no sense to stir the hornet's nest. I get what you're saying. Obviously, to an extent, it looks like we were fishing for money or refund. All I can say on that front is we just don't have that track record with any other company. We haven't fished for any free shit or done any free shit. Obviously, you've no way of knowing that. There's no way of me proving that.
I don't talk to any of them. I don't think.
Yeah. So again, my view is just I get it. There's no really sweat off our back though, because it's like it's just two people that won't do business with each other again. I think it's an unfortunate situation. I do hope that to some extent they did investigate properly and like look at the facts from there. From again, I stand by this. And I'm not asking answer my question. If that product didn't come from a distributor, I really do hope that they vet that third party source or even ask some questions or raise some flags with them, and that's enough for me because like I know what I know. Again, if I was them, I would not use that third party source for that product. But again, maybe they came from a distributor, maybe it was just our product, and if that's the case, then there's egg on our face.
I mean, and then maybe that's the situation where if you talk to your people, and I can watch the footage, it would be not only beneficial, I guess, for you guys to to know, like, here, this is what it was. It was wrong. But for them to also know what was wrong with the boxes, so they can bring it up with their source. They named the distributor, but
again, I don't like again. You know, I think again, I think you said it earlier. I mean, I'll ask them, but I think there's a chance that you pointed out that if both those cases came from the same pallet, then every case on that pallet might have just been an error case or a missed thing at the, like, you know, maybe none of the packs on any of that pallet have a hollow in it, right? They just got skipped, it got missed or something, right? I've no idea. Again, my take is, you know, I'll ask them. I have a feeling their response is just going to be what it was when we sent that final email, which is, hey, let's just drop this and move forward.
Because I think if that's what you sent them, like if you were just like, hey, we got these 2 cases and they just didn't have hollows, and then they sent you however many hollows were missing from each box, like it's gonna cost them
again,
like what,
like
30 cents,
you know, again,
50 cents.
I think when we sent that email, I think we sent an email like 2 weeks ago. Again, like transparency. You obviously, I can tell by your mic, you've been in the space for a long time. Like you've been doing streaming, or I don't fully know.
Year and change.
Year and change. Again, we're 2 months in, and it was a lot of learning curves and stuff. I definitely think we did. I mean, we did learn. Like one of our biggest things here was we were too aggressive, and then also we just kind of figured like, you know, I'd rather us source product from the people we know and have to figure stuff out than take chances on stuff. But like again, it was a learning experience for us. I have no ill will towards them. I wouldn't recommend them to, you know, to any friends or family or to our viewer base, but I wouldn't go out of my way to flag them. And if somebody asks us about them, my response every single time is just going to be like, I haven't seen anything bad about them online. And that's really where it goes. Because again, I said it in the email and I stand by it. Like, you know, call me an idiot. I don't think they had any malice intent. I don't. I think the email, like the guy we spoke to on the phone the night we called, was like such a lad. Like he was so nice. I think his name is Dylan or something. The guy was so nice. Like that, his customer service was awesome. He was like, "Ah, no, I get it, man. Like that's fucking insane. I'm so sorry. Like you should send an email and I'll send it up the chain." And I was like, "Oh, cool. That works. That's awesome. I'll do that." But I think you point out good points. We didn't provide enough evidence, which then makes it look like we're just fishing and being dickheads. Which I think what you're saying is totally fair. Like I don't really have I don't disagree with anything you've said. I do think that like yeah, if we had provided the entire stream and gone, "Here's what's happened," things might have gone differently, but I think the results end the same. We weren't in any situation like we'd sold the product, we'd opened the product. I don't think there's a situation in which we would try and fish for a refund on the product that we'd already taken from them. But they pretty much did what we would have. I mean, the only thing we would have rather had is some other product to go live with. But you said it earlier. Obviously, that doesn't make sense for them because if they give us more product and we have the same issue, we're going in circles. So they pretty much, you know.
Because I mean, like, if all of a sudden, like, what was it, 4 cases that were on the way?
Mm-hmm.
Like for a game store, if they even have to partially refund 2 cases and then they have to refund or whatever, like let's say worst case scenario, charge back on 6 cases of Pokemon boxes, like that is all their profit gone for that like entire set, depending on how much they actually get in.
Which
like
again,
when you're only making $10 on a box.
Yeah, like we have a friend that runs a store down in Florida who told us they lose $1 on every I don't know if ETB they sell. Based on the margin they buy it for and stuff, they end up losing $1 on stuff. Mm-hmm. So like, but they have to have it because people come in and look for it and they don't want to not have like, you know, the popular set right now. Again, like I think you know, again, our take was really simple. Like there was definitely a degree of like, you know, this is like people's jobs, income and stuff. We're not trying to fuck with that in case we're wrong. Because we're not, you know, we could be completely fucking off base. The product could have just been an error product. You know, a million things. There's a million variables, a million flags everywhere, and that's why our take when we were done was, you know, we definitely approached in-house counsel because that's why we have them. It wasn't fun. It didn't make sense in a business decision. It didn't make sense financially. And you know, I mean, you said it. You know, and I'm sure they have an issue. The thing that made the most sense was just to not do business with either party again, and that's exactly what we did. You know, I have no negative things to say about them though. I've said it like maybe 20 times, but I don't think there was any malice intent. You know, I wouldn't recommend them, but I'm not going to sit out there and go out of my way to flame them. You know, and like I said, if someone ever asked me where to shop from, we make the same joke on our stream all the time. I have no affiliation with Safari Zone, but I always say if you're going to look for product on Pokemon, go to safarizone.com. We're not sponsored because we're not important enough. Um, we've had nothing but an awesome experience with them. They're just friendly, nice people. They ship really fast. Smoke and Mirrors Hobbies. I don't know if you've heard of them. Smoke and Mirrors. They're awesome as well, based out of New York. They're really fast. We just bought from
I've heard of both, but I've never purchased from either one. But I'm also in Canada, so
okay, I mean that makes sense. Again, I'm just looking it up. 3G cards, collectibles. That's really I'd say the only three people we buy from. But again, like we've had nothing but awesome experience with those companies, and we always try and tell people when we go live with product where we buy it from, because obviously on Whatnot you charge more than what you buy the packs from, because you've got to make money, and then also there's the convenience factor. You've got games and bounties and stuff going on, like hit this card you win. So there's an inflated ratio in packs. So, but we always tell our customers like where we bought the boxes from, so they can go compare the price. Like obviously, if I buy the box for 150 and I'm selling it for 250, you can know that that's fine. But this month we're giving away a black label on our channel. We gave away a Moonbreon. We've given away 2 Moonbreons and a Shadowless Blister. I know for the Shadowless Blister we paid $3,000 for it, and some of them are going for $1,500 on eBay. And we had some people be like, "That's bullshit," and we just provided the receipt because we bought one that was in mint condition. We over fucking paid for it, obviously, in hindsight. We don't have a ton of experience with buying Shadowless Blisters. We overpaid for it, but we were transparent with the audience. Like, this is what we paid for it, so we're gonna value it at what we bought it for. But fair play. If you think it's worth 1,500, it's worth 1,500. Again, our take was really simple with all this. Like, you've said you never bought from them and stuff before, but even if you would ask me, my response would be, best of luck. Like, I got no negative thing to say. I think the email was 2 people with hot heads, smoking hot air. All I will say, and again, it's my word versus your impression, so I get it. Our intent was not to rip anyone off or get any money back or anything. We didn't try and get some clout out of it on TikTok. I'm sure we could have made 7 TikToks about this and tried to grow our TikTok.
It's not that exciting of a TikTok if it's like, hey, these guys sold me a box and it didn't have any hollows in it, or like the code cards.
Also, that's how I know you'd be doing this longer than me, but I just thought I came up with an idea. No, I mean, okay. Yeah. Again, bro, I think you're hitting on the head. Like, there just wasn't,
I don't think that might not be like the next Leonhardt video. My boss had no hollows.
Again,
unless it was unless it was a WotC box, then maybe it's an issue.
Yeah, okay. Like, again, I think I get all the arguments to be made. I get your take. I don't know what I know my business partners are going to say, let's drop this and move on. Again, at the end of the day, where we're at with all this is just really simple. It's, when you go talk back to them, you can let them know we stand by what we said. There's no malice intent. We did not mean to egg them on for like free shit. All we really wanted was a rush order of different product that wasn't the one coming. We were just going to switch to Silver Tempest, which I think they had in stock on their website. But we also understood in hindsight, like the next day, why they wouldn't do that. And that's why we just completely went, I mean, obviously it makes sense. What are you doing? It's like if you got food poisoning from a restaurant and then went back and asked for a free dinner. Like, what are you doing? Right? It wouldn't make any sense. Which is why I can understand that if you read that email, you might get the take where it's like you were just fishing for free shit, because like if these were resealed, why would you want more? Honestly, it's a valid take, which is why like I'm not sitting here being like, fuck you, man, we didn't like, nah, I get where you're coming from. I think you're making a rational argument. All I can say at least, I don't want to speak for my other partners, is in my opinion, I think they're resealed, but my opinion is worth fuck all. I'm not an aficionado on this stuff. Like, that's my first ever product I've ever opened where I've suspected it. We did research, we watched videos, we looked at Reddit posts.
Because like depending on the severity, like usually like you wouldn't even if it was bad and like it was missing certain cards, or if it was like some of the cards are damaged inside the packs and nothing is resealed whatsoever, typically that's when you have to reach out to the Pokemon company and spend 17 years hearing back from them, where they send you like replacement packs or cards or whatever. I think recently they just promised to send money, but usually even stuff like that, there's like weird things. outside of the fact that if it's resealed, they also require you to send like your receipt where you got it, etc. So that's
Okay,
also
yeah, I didn't.
something.
We didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, like again, man,
it's kind of clunky now since the pandemic. They're not so fast about doing it, but which reminds me,
I mean,
I
again,
got to reach back out to them.
and again, like obviously I'm just gonna call you Rattle because I don't know your name. But like
Mike,
again, man, I appreciate
but Rattle
Mike.
works too.
Mine's Elliot. Uh, again, like I mean, again, I appreciate you reaching out, man. Like again, we're new in the space. We're trying to go a really genuine community. So when you wanted to reach out and talk about it, my take was, and I said to my business partners, like they kind of knew about it, but I was like, there's nothing for us to hide. Even if, let's say, you ended up being like Pokemon drama alert, if that's a fucking thing. My take was really simple.
People have said that. Don't say that.
My take was really simple.
Do not.
I just, from a business point, it didn't make sense. From a person point, it didn't make sense. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that we gave that impression that we were fishing for money. I'm not gonna lie, I've sat here since you said that, and every time you've like even alluded or said that directly to me, my face every time has been like handed face, like, oh, that's just not what we were trying to do. But I'm rereading that. I've reread that email like 6 times since being on the call with you. Yeah, I get it. I get your impression. I get the logic. We'll just move on and let it go. I think we handled it pretty poorly. I think we could have handled it better. I do think the email was pretty shitty. I really wish they'd at least addressed that the information wasn't, like, the evidence wasn't sufficient, and they could have, and they'd been like, the evidence you're providing isn't sufficient. We'd like to see more of it. Could you, all this other stuff? But at the same time, we came in too brazen. We should have, what is the saying? Like, you catch more bees with honey than vinegar or something, flies. And we just fucking threw vinegar at them and expected them to be like, yeah, sure, let's work this out. But again, like, I get the take. I get the response. I think we're just gonna move forward and let it all be. But again, I stand by it, man. I said it in my email, and it's the thing I will stand by. Even if someone else asked me, I don't think they had any malice intent. If someone asked me if I think the product was like, if someone asked me if 99% of the product they sell is legit, my response would be yes. Right? They've been around too long. They have an amazing community standard, and that's really where it falls for us. I think I don't know. I think the party or whoever. I think we opened a Resealed product. I think that was unfortunate, or it could have been error product. It could be either one. In my opinion, I lean towards Resealed, but I'm also not an aficionado. It could have just been an error boxes and stuff. The only thing I will say is we didn't.
Is the glue on the wrapper itself? Is it like it's a whole separate substance? Is it like crunchy or?
So like on the wrapper, or like the Pokemon wrapper, like the pack wrapper, or like the wrapper that goes in boxes.
The pack wrapper.
Yeah.
It was on the flap, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a pack wrapper handy that isn't ripped into a million pieces. So like on this part.
Yeah.
So was that like, was it hard? Was it a separate, or was it just like a layer that's coming off?
So it was like in dollops, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't like someone took a glue stick and went across. It was like in certain parts it was dollopy. Because
I mean, even in images, it's a little bit hard to tell. But
no, again, we accept.
So like there, it's like it's got like different textures and stuff like that, but it's not.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it was like protruding to the point that it's like clearly a different substance that was on there, and not just like where the plastic tears apart. Because there's like clear layers and.
Yeah, and again, even if, and I do stand by this one, even if we had proven through a lab, through an expert witness counsel videos, the only way we could have proven anything would be if, since we received the product, we had a video camera on that product up until the moment it was in front of a stream. Without that, you just can't. It's my word versus their word, and that was our take. Again, like, it sucks that we kind of look like dickheads, but if that's the price that we just didn't handle it great, then that's fine. Like, I don't, we weren't fishing for anything. We didn't do anything, conspicuous. I just think that the guy that sold them product was kind of, not legit, or we got error product. I don't, if they So obviously, and my curiosity is, did they sell the rest of the cases that came in on that order? Did they open any of them for themselves to check like what we should look at these at? That's my question because I doubt they just bought 2 cases from a source. So my question or my logic is, if they still had any of those cases, did they crack them and look at them for themselves? Because no one's buying two. No brick and mortar is just buying 2 cases of product from a connection. Because I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to.
Do you have pictures of the cases?
No, which again, that's my point though. We weren't looking for anything.
Okay, I was just wondering if there's like lot numbers or anything on the labels, etc.
No, like so to give you an example of what we usually do on a lot of the streams is we have limited space on where we stream out of. So we take booster boxes, break them down, and just put them in rows of 18s. We usually don't even have a booster box on stream. We just don't have we have a really small safe that fits packs, but not the booster box themselves. So with this case, we didn't do that. We actually had, because we literally got them and went live straight with them. But it was like,
so they were already broken down before stream.
Yeah, no. So we open the boxes on stream, like we cut the boxes on stream every time. But it's more like in the sense that most streams we don't even do that. Like most streams we're just pulling 18 packs and 36 packs. Here's your booster box. Go next. Because we live in Florida. We have a safe that we bought from Walmart that was $150. That's Bungie wrote down to like a paint shelf. Like we're a small startup. So like again, we're still figuring stuff out. But I don't. Again, my take with them, and I have no issue with you repeating it, is just we have no ill intent. I think they should definitely investigate it on their side. We weren't fishing for free goodies or free Pokemon tins because what's the point in that? Like what could they like? I've read the article. I think the average Pokemon brick and mortar profits $40,000 in a year after paying staff and stuff and wait and salaries and stuff. Like it's not like we were going after Amazon. How much money do they really make and stuff? So we're friends with someone that runs a Pokemon store down in Orlando. I get it. I get it. We weren't trying to fuck anyone over. It was more like, hey, we're in a really bad situation. Can you please take care of us here? But I also get the argument of you wouldn't go back to the restaurant that gave you food poisoning and ask for a free lunch. And it looks like that's what we were doing, but not our intention. Again, that's why when they sent the last email, by the time they'd responded to us and cooler heads had prevailed, we kind of just went, let's let it go and move on. But I mean, again, our take where we are right now is obviously we'd rather this not all get public and blasted everywhere, because again, it's just not. We're not. If this was all went out public, we'd just dump all the information we have. We have the photos and let people make their own decisions. But again, in my opinion, there's not enough evidence that if you were to you can't make an informed decision on our behalf. You can't. I agree with you. Without the entire stream, we didn't even we kept a lot of the packs, like the art, because we use a bin bag where we put all the packs while we're going streams. We didn't throw that out for a couple of days. It wasn't until like 3 or 4 days later where we made the decision where I went, just bin it and let's move on. Again, that was our take. Like we genuinely did think about sending it to a lab, but it doesn't matter, because even if you could provide evidence that there was Elmer's fucking non-washable glue on there, like it doesn't matter, because how could you prove that I didn't do that between streams? Between the time I received the product and went live, we can't prove that.
Yeah. So well, even then, like if it doesn't show anything on stream, then it could have been afterwards.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that we're streaming on Whatnot versus streaming on somewhere like Twitch, where like we stream off an iPhone, the bitrate resolution. I mean, it's just not. It's not high res remotely. I think I live in a pretty suburban part of Orlando. My Wi-Fi is 100 megabytes. Like the stream quality is 50-50 sometimes. So I get the argument completely, both sides. I mean, my question for you, so obviously we've given you a ton of information, is what's your, I think our request is that this doesn't go public and go crazy out there, because it's just, we're not looking for, drama and stuff, but I think that's really.
I mean, like if it's nothing, clearly, like it's not worth making a video about it. Like I'd still like to see all the details. Like if we can get the footage, which Whatnot should have it.
Yeah.
Then I'd like to look through it, and maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's like a misunderstanding. But I think like that's the only thing that's really gonna sell me on the fact that like it wasn't bad intentions on you guys, on your part. At this point, I think just like there's too many there's too many details that seem like they're purposely left out through those 2 emails that like it makes me feel like maybe there was bad intentions from your point, like from the beginning. Then maybe you got a response that you didn't like. Then it got even more heated in the follow up. They ignored you. They sent me the emails asking if they were getting scammed. So I don't know.
That's a bit of a weird take for scam. The scam
well,
question.
I mean,
They receive that product back.
I mean, you see that on eBay all the time. People will be like, hey, like this isn't in as good shape. Can I have a partial refund, or like I'm gonna send it back, or stuff like that, where they kind of hold the store or the seller hostage a little bit. Where, like, usually it doesn't involve like lawsuit threats or anything like that, but
yeah,
this is just like the big boy version of that.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do any of that though. Like we didn't touch, because obviously when we went to the bank and we were getting our money back from the order that was going back to them, they asked us about, because like 4 days ago we'd done a $15,000 or a $1,500 order with them, and our response was no, that one's fine. Like we didn't put a claim on that, we didn't touch that. The money that had gone, the only thing we were trying to get our money back was product we weren't going to receive anymore. And unfortunately the UPS is incredibly fucking slow, so the tracking just stops in the middle of it. We have no idea if they've received it, if what's going on, if it's lost. So our money logic was, we didn't receive this item, we need our money back to stream, can we move, like, come on? And the bank was like, okay, we'll deal with it. But the moment the money hit our account, we contacted the bank, and they issued the refund. You know, the bank was like, that's fine, we'll remove it. Obviously I didn't sit there and have a 30-minute conversation with the branch manager, because
I don't even like necessarily have like an issue with any of the stuff like that happened where the answer, like the order was canceled, and I think that was probably in everyone's best interest, that just like you guys 100%. Start buying from other places. But more so, like, as I mentioned, like I'm not going to promise that I'm not going to make a video out of any of the information. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's why I think it's like in everyone's best interest if it's like everyone's transparent about it. Because, like, from my point of view, which is completely outside, like I don't do business with you. I don't do business with them. I don't buy anything on Whatnot. I think it's a waste of money. I don't buy anything from them because they're nowhere near me. So, like, just from my perspective, it feels like you guys are hiding something, and like, should it be sort of a warning, like, to game stores? I'm sure others have dealt with like similar situations or whatever, but
and I mean,
just
again,
in general, like it's also like I get that you don't necessarily want to make it a public ordeal, but I think when it gets to the point that you're threatening a game store with lawsuits, that
I mean,
you at least provide what you can in terms of like information, since you're making those claims, right?
Like, again,
if you're gonna claim they're resealed, I think like the least you can do is like provide them with everything.
I will say, and I will with you, we claimed they were resealed in a private email between the store and them. We didn't post it on Facebook saying they were resealed. You know, again, everything we've handled is between closed doors. And I like, this will be our response, because it's kind of where we're at. Our take is really simple. Like, obviously, you know, if you make a video about all this and go crazy, we'll most likely end up pursuing.
I don't necessarily need to go crazy. I mean,
no, I'm just saying, like, if you end up making a video about it, like, we'll most likely end up, you know, pursuing Whatnot to get the full stream and posting, you know, all the.
I mean, we can do that beforehand.
But I'm saying we don't want, like, you have to understand from our perspective, we just
you don't want to beforehand. But like I mean, like at this point, I think with the way you came at the game store, I think it's like the least you could do was at least provide that.
I mean, again, it was a private email.
It was a private yeah, but it was kind of like holding them hostage.
We didn't post it. We weren't tweeting to our 20,000 followers, which we don't have, saying, "Hey, blah 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 blah, we're gonna sue you." It was a private email. We didn't like the response. We said we would look into pursuing legal action.
But it seems predatory a little bit.
We then didn't pursue that legal action. They never hit us back. You know, if they'd hit us back with any other email, our response would be, let, you know, all bygones be bygones. I get your take on it, but
because half of it's like half of the emails are like sugar coated, and the other half are threatening lawsuits. So like,
and I mean, and again, like, I get that's the impression you get from it. Our take is, it's really simple. If we pull an entire video and do it, it's not logistically. It's not worth
your time.
From a business point, I don't say it's not worth our time. From a business point,
I mean,
it's
like,
not worth. It's not worth sitting there out there where our name is now attached to it to an allegation, and that's exactly what that does. Right? We're not
Right.
trying to make an allegation. We made it. We made an allegation in the email. From my opinion stance, and again, I'm going to keep saying from my opinion stance, I don't believe they were fully legit, but I also don't believe they had any malice intent. Obviously, if it was a video somewhere, we'd absolutely defend why we thought what we thought, and we'd also still back it up that we thought there was no negative intent because I have no issue with Over the
I mean,
Brick.
can we
I
just do
wouldn't
that from the
recommend them.
beginning? It's like, it's not even
What
going
was
to take
that?
any time out of your day. We can just look at the entire video. You can watch it with me
I
if you want.
mean, I'll ask my.
Oh, your
Can you give me
colleagues.
like 2 seconds so I can ask my co-host to come up?
Yeah.
One of them's in the chair, so I'm like, obviously I don't want to make that decision on my own, but just give me a second and then I can pass it on to you and I can ask them.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna mute. Hey man,
Hey, how's it going?
it's, I mean, I just had a fun conversation. I'm just gonna be blunt. My partner's their take effectively is we get the live stream, we post the video. It's just a bigger story versus we look like fucking dickheads. Sure, we know what we did, we know what we didn't do. But I don't. We're a partnership, therefore, like we have voting, and I don't have the
Okay.
vote to do
So
X or do Y
was
without without approval.
what's your vote?
I mean, my vote is there's no harm in showing the video, other than the
Okay.
fact that like as we
I
were
mean,
opening the
it doesn't have to be like a public viewing or anything like that. I mean, it was already a public live stream.
no, I get that, but it's the fact that
Hmm.
again you can understand like I have obligations to investors and like I have obligations, so I can't just
Okay.
disregard what the vote is when we hold one. Um, like again, my take is really simple, and I'm on the record, obviously with this process of saying this, I genuinely mean this. I think that the intent was never to be predatory or to get free shit, which is why we never followed or chased. If we were really
Okay. I
angling
mean,
for
like
free
that's
stuff,
it too. Like if I watch the video and I see that like okay, this is the box is clearly actually messed up to the point that it warrants sending an email um
and
the
yeah,
way that you
like
did
I get, I
and
get, I
follow
get,
up
I get,
the way that you
like
did,
again, I get,
then like okay,
I get
cool,
what you're
we're
saying.
like then we're in the clear, like it's fine,
No,
whatever. i
again,
i just
get
i
it.
just where you didn't provide enough information, and even through our conversation there was no like real clear I guess like what was in the boxes.
Oh, I mean,
So
I'll
like
answer that question. Yeah, no. So
so
the
you're
boxes
saying
are
that
filled with training
there's
gallery.
like mid-tier hits,
Yeah,
but
it's
there's
training
no
gallery.
like
So
good hits.
so
So it
like,
had trainer gallery but
again,
nothing in the rare slot whatsoever.
so no. Even on email, we're not saying that. They were rare cards, just mid tier hits. Like obviously, if you open a box of Silver Tempest,
Hmm.
Lugia Full Art is a rare card, but it's like a $12 card. Like
Hmm.
that's just to fully clarify that. We're not claiming the box had no hits. I'm claiming it had mid tier hits, which again,
So it had
you
a
know,
Lugia fallout in the
I mean, it was Lost Origin, so no, I don't think it had any Giratina full arts.
it didn't
That
have
would be
any
a different story.
Giratina
Yeah, but
Tina full arts.
again, I get it, man. Like honestly, I feel like I've tried to be as candid and transparent as possible because obviously, like like again, we're not above admitting that, like, hey, yeah, we could have done X, we could have done Y, we could have done Z. Um, I think each is a valid argument. I think
Hmm.
where we're at is I appreciate you taking the time to like look into it and research it. Obviously, I'm not happy that we came out looking like fucking dickheads. My take on the stream, but it's not my executive decision. I understand where they're coming from. I gotta respect it.
Yeah.
But at the same
This is
time,
like
like I
kind of like the premise of my channel, and the
no,
majority
like
of what I do is just the fact that like there are a lot of scammers, there are a lot of bullies, and
and I
there
will
are
say
people
this,
that are going to
you can
take
check
advantage
out,
of other people, and
yeah,
I'm gonna press
you can
them.
expose it. No, and I get that. And
Right.
we have our eBay account is listed with our name, same name. We don't have a single negative review.
Hmm.
We sold slabs, we sold cards. You can check out
Right.
our
I
eBay.
mean,
We look at
Do
our
you know
wallet.
who Urgent Dylan is?
No.
He was the guy that was fake stamping first edition cards, and he was selling resealed boxes. He also didn't have any negative feedback because he always
Oh, I didn't.
refunded. So it's like
Oh.
the 100%
Oh,
feedback
okay.
is like it's good to have. It's a good
So
sign, but it's not like the end all
even
be all, because if you're smart enough,
even
then you
then
don't get negative
on our
feedback.
on our whatnot account,
Yeah.
like we have a 3.4.91. Like
Hmm.
again,
You
I like
did,
again I
did you get any negative reviews for the resealed product?
no. No, because again, we couldn't say without a doubt that they were resealed or
Yeah.
not. So like that's the issue. If I sit there and announce, hey, these are resale product, if they're not resale and they were error box, I'm liable. Over the Brick can take me to fucking court and take me for all I'm worth, and that's valid. Like that's how it should work. Because if I can't prove something, I shouldn't say something in a public forum. Which is why, like again, it's like opinion versus what we're stating to
Hmm.
be fact. Like again, I understand. Like again, if I'm sure go for it. My only request, like you make a video about Over the Brick. I don't want people to think that like even if some people's only impression is that like they're selling. I don't think they're selling resale. I think they bought something from a third party that sold them some resale product, and that's what we got. Or they were error boxes. I don't know which one it is. Again, I'm not an aficionado on the stuff. Someone like you probably knows a lot more about it. even then though, with where we're at, it's just like I get all arguments of it. Obviously, those emails didn't come out the way we wanted them to come out. Hopefully, when you report this, like I'm sure you'll share like parts of the recordings of this call. My take is I just hope you include that. Like, obviously, that wasn't our intention. We didn't chase it further. We didn't try and get a refund on anything we'd already received. We didn't, all we did was send a pissed off email, and then let it be. I mean, that's what we've done. We posted no on any socials. I mean, you can look up and down. There's no Reddit post, Facebook post, tweet, 4chan, anything talking about them in the negative
But
light.
even then, it like the way that it comes off, that's not something that you would be doing anyway, because the way that I see it is like if you're seeking a partial refund or a refund on something like that, you don't necessarily want to make it public.
Why?
Why would you? Wouldn't it be better if they just sent you a partial refund?
Public pressure. I mean,
So
the argument.
what if they sent you a partial refund on that after that first email? Like, what would happen?
On the product,
that would have been the end of it, right?
I mean, sure, but even then, even though they didn't, and we didn't pursue anything, so the arguments, it's kind of like multifaceted. It works both ways.
Yeah,
like they
but I
didn't
mean,
send
like you can
public,
just like
but if you
allude
like,
to bring them to court over it, and then.
I mean, again, like we said we'd pursue, we
like,
consult options, which we absolutely
well,
did.
it got to the extent that you said that you were going to send them a letter of intent and that you were going to contact the Better Business Bureau. So
yeah, because like again, that was where we were at the end of that call. It was like, this felt insanely unprofessional. It feels like you're doing something bad. But after we consulted legal counsel, we were informed you can't prove the chain of custody of the product. We can't prove that. Therefore, we completely dropped it. I mean, anyone with any background in law would probably give us the same advice, where it's like, can you prove the chain of custody? No, it's over. Drop it. You have no way to prove that it wasn't that you didn't alter it, they didn't alter it, UPS didn't alter it. You have no way to prove it wasn't your neighbor who picked it up, and there's no way to prove it. The thing that matters the most of it. So again, that's why it kind of dropped. Like, again, man, I my hope though is, if you're gonna make a story about it, sure, is just make sure, like,
include all the information. See, I'm missing information though.
It's not all information. It's more just I'm more saying I don't want Over the Brick having a reputation of having resealed product, because I don't think they had any malice intent. I'm being transparent here. I don't. Again,
so you're looking out for them, not yourself.
Yeah, like, we're a small stream. Like, even if you made a video that was like, these are the scummiest guys in the world. Okay,
I mean, like, what's like the worst case? Like, if you were actually doing this, if you faked the resealed stuff in an attempt to get a refund from a game store, would what, like?
I mean, again, my response
probably wouldn't like it.
I mean, sure. But
I mean, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on and whatnot, but
again, our response is really simple. If for some reason we were approached, we just, like, again, I don't have those answers. My response is the thing I've said, I think, like 50 times in this call. It's, we didn't go in there with an intent. We didn't pursue a negative intent. We even went to a bank and launched a claim. If I was chasing my money back to scam a store, I could have done it right then and there while I was sitting inside of a bank. I didn't do it. They issued a
refund. But I don't think you're not necessarily as, like, there's good and bad ways, I guess, intelligent ways to scam, and baiting out refunds or refunding people that you ripped off and saying oopsie doopsie, I didn't know, is like it's the go-to. So when you see like that, when you see the highest end, you see the educated scammers, that they're not ripping people off by accepting payments and just not sending anything. They're not sending wrong items, etc. Like, they're not making those really stupid mistakes that all trace back to them. That's where it comes in, that if it's a private conversation, or what was a private conversation, or a complaint to a game store, if it doesn't go outside of that, then what's the worst case? They don't partial refund you. But at the same time,
I mean, again, which I get, again, my response to it, it's the same thing, man. I get where you're coming from.
But maybe it started off as like you were trying to overstate how bad the boxes actually were. And it snowballed from there. Like
again, I think we opened products on a stream. Mm-hmm. Something fell off. Obviously, we're frustrated and upset in that moment. Brand new company. When $2,000 ends a company, right? When you're just starting out, frustrated. Send an email. Their response felt like they were pretty much saying, "Sorry, you feel that way." That frustrated and upset us. So we sent an aggressive email back, being like, "What the fuck?" You know, and that's really where it ended. It's it's like road rage or something, right? In that moment, you're way more upset than you are 30 seconds when you're outside of your car. Um, we didn't go public with it. We didn't try and flag them or do anything because obviously that's not our intent. That's why I'm saying to you, like, I don't have all the answers. I don't have the proof or the knowledge to say something's resealed or not resealed as a fact, which is why we're not doing that. Even when you make a video about it, if someone joins our channel, our response will be the same thing. I can't really speak on if the product's resealed or not. In my opinion, it felt weird, but that's all we're really gonna say about it. I don't. If Whatnot reached out to us, it'd be the same thing. We have had no negative feedback from anyone. We haven't, when people have DM'd us and been like, we were missing, like we've had some times on Whatnot where like sometimes somebody will buy a pack, like their kid buys a pack and they don't mean to do it, but we opened it on stream. We've issued refunds like constantly on that stuff. Like we say it on our stream regularly. We try and create a really, positive, genuine experience. Um, Obviously these emails were sent when we were pissed off and upset, so we look like clowns. But if we look like clowns, then we look like clowns. But as far as we're concerned, we don't want to go any further with it. We don't, we haven't, I think it's the case of where it's like, if we were scammers, right? Like if this was our business, if it was getting the scam thing, it'd be how fast can we clear our reputation so we look good. The worst case scenario, if some people in the community think we're pieces of shit, I mean, we'll just earn the trust back. That's kind of our take. We don't do anything sketchy. We don't do anything weird. In our worst case scenario, really is we have to earn people's trust back, and if we have to earn people's trust back, then that's just what the fuck we have to do. That's our penance for sending an email that was too aggressive, too fast because we didn't like their initial response. I don't. Hindsight's 2020. Maybe we should have kept the rappers. Maybe we shouldn't have done X. Maybe a million
I mean,
things.
even the first email, if I'm not mistaken, had the mention of the in-house counsel, right?
Yeah, we wanted to be transparent going forward, like, and that was our point. Obviously, it was like transparent for how serious we were taking this because it's a really serious claim. You're accusing someone of fraud, right? I wasn't accusing someone of, you didn't package my glass vase securely enough. I was accusing someone of fraud. So obviously we immediately brought in the fact that, like, in-house counsel, we're gonna have to consult them. We don't know where this goes. I've never dealt with anything like that. If you buy something from Amazon and it looks shady, Amazon gives you a full refund and you send the product back, right? That's how Amazon works. If you buy something on eBay, there's seller protection. eBay Goods and Services, the seller protection. Whatnot's a new platform. You've mentioned earlier, I do think Whatnot's missing some key features. Some of them are on moderation on the streamer's side. I don't think streams have enough moderation abilities and protection and stuff because you see people join in. Like a couple nights ago, we had somebody auto bid. So like we had 1,000 packs on auction, right? Just single pack, but like we had 1,000 of them. Somebody auto bidded every single one of them. Dead card. How is that a feature on the channel? How is that a thing? Like, so don't get me wrong, I think Whatnot's a relevantly new streaming platform compared to some other places. I think it's got some bugs. I do think it's got some shady characters on there. But
maybe they need criminal background checks.
Oh, the driver's license thing you have to do for certain websites. We have to like prove who you are. Because that's one thing I do think. Like they verify your phone number, but I think they should have to verify. I think you should be
All of a
18 to buy on
sudden,
Whatnot.
half your competition is gone, maybe more.
Yeah. So like again, my take on this, man. I respect what you're doing. I respect what you're doing. You're obviously doing research and trying to smoke out scammers, man. My only request is, you make a video on this, whatever. I just really want this to be included, and I don't think Over the Brick is doing anything with any malice intent. I think we have got some error product, or maybe it came from their third party and they had done something. But our take really stands on where it is, where it's, it be what it be. I feel like both parties kind of came to an understanding. We have no ill will towards them. I think both parties shouldn't do business with each other again. If people perceive the actions we took as being scammy or scummy, my answer is, they can tune by the stream and see what we do and how we hang out. This month, one thing we do and one other, we feel like a lot of streamers don't, is a lot of them, like some of the top streamers charge like $15 a pack, right? The item they're giving away is worth like $150 max.
Yeah, well,
that's the ceiling.
I think more so the fact that like there's a tremendous ability for, I guess, wrongdoing within the platform. Not that everyone on there is doing something wrong, but the
One bad
ability
apple
to
makes
like
everyone
to
crazy.
reseal or to have prizes that are always going to their friend or someone that's made up or their
Yeah,
burner account, etc. Like the
which
sheer
is why,
protection or like
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I
all of
agree.
that
I wish there
stuff
was
is
a,
just like
but
really.
like,
It's
I
the same
wish
as
because they have
Facebook or anywhere else that's like rip
yeah.
and ship kind of deal. It's
Um,
just like
which is
there's
But like one of the things we're trying to do is so we have regulars that have won like a Moonbreon, which we bought on eBay. We have the receipt. We bought two Moonbreons. We bought a Shadowless Blister, which we overpaid for. I mean, we kind of
mhm,
overpaid for. Like for the condition it's in, 2,200 is probably its market value. We end up paying 3,000 for it. We have a Black Label Lugia going out right now, and someone's gonna win that, and someone's gonna get that. You know, we do the wheel spin on stream. We ask our regulars to be in there and to clip it, to just talk about it. That way, we also do the wheel spin 3 times. So there's a first, second, and third. That way, if for some reason the first person doesn't claim it, the second person gets it, the third person gets it. Um, we sometimes it depends. Like some of the giveaways, when we gave someone a Moonbreon, we send it express mail and we sent them a receipt of it, and then they reached out and said, "Yeah, no, I got the product, I got this, I got that." We try to be really above board. We're trying to do things a bit different on that. Like we don't
mhm.
agree with if you're going to run a month giveaway, a month item, like where you're going to spread it. I think the item should be worth a munch. If somebody buys 7 packs from us and wins that Black Label, that Lugia Black Label is worth like a used Honda Civic, right? Like that could really help someone change someone's thing. So our items and our prizes, we try and do the more expensive stuff. I'm not like we have little slabs and stuff like hit 3 radiants, win like a $40 slab or something. We have those because if you don't have them, people get upset. Even though it's like I mean, go crazy. You can have the like somebody a couple days ago, we had a thing where you could pick your slab, and one of the slabs was a PSA 4 unknown from Neo. $20 slab. We told him it's like my boy, that's a $20 slab, and there's like a 50, and he was like, "No, I want that one." It's like, man, go crazy. Some people are collecting, some people treat it as investment, some people are trying to flip. But my take is we're trying to keep things above the board. Like even the game we're running right now, when we're doing mystery boxes, we're going with iconic mystery box. The only reason we're doing that is because some of the biggest Pokemon influences on any other platforms use this company. Right, they're a really above the board awesome company. So we thought, okay, we'll go with them. And the worst case scenario if someone gets one of these boxes is they get a Wizard of the Coast pack. Right? Like that's not really a scammy thing. I doubt PokeWeb's scamming people online, right? I doubt Leonhardt is either. And they both open from this company, which is why we went and sourced from that company.
I mean,
We
there's
use some
also been like plenty of examples where they open stuff like Rev isn't sponsored by any of the like the mystery items that he opens.
yeah.
Whether or not any of them at any point figured out that it was him buying them is like up in the air. I think he
I mean,
avoids he
I guess
avoids that
yeah.
and tries to order it through somebody else.
Well,
But
I will say like
he's opened stuff from companies that are scamming. Like
yeah, like the places from Walgreens and CVS, like those
yeah,
mystery things are fucking
I
like
mean
we
like
sold
Poke Japan. The dude is like off the rails. Like took everyone's money, took orders like for I don't know how long on Japanese product, and now like everyone has to charge back. And how many people are gonna not watch a video saying, "Hey,
Oh, I saw that.
you're not
I
getting
think
your
I saw that
product."
tweet on Poke
Yeah.
Drops. He tweeted something about that, didn't he? About how the guy, someone like out the
Hmm.
company sent an email, and now they do. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
on Poke Drops. Tweeted something about that. I mean, again, man, my take is really simple. I think obviously I'd like to provide more information. I get why my partners don't. My take
Yeah.
though is that if people come to our channel, people look into it, they'll see that what we're trying to do is something above board. Obviously, what we've done is put ourselves in a negative light. That fucking sucks. My view is really simple. All we can do is earn back people's trust. And
Hmm.
if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do because we're not doing shady things. We run an eBay, and I get what you're saying. You can cancel out those things. Half the reviews talk about how we sent free stuff with people's orders, right? Like, during
Yeah.
Christmas,
I mean,
how
like,
everyone sent
there's a lot of
orders.
people that like do bad things too. That are like, hey, but
No, I
I
get
gave
it, right?
stuff
A good
away.
thing doesn't, yeah, like we could be
Yeah.
half good. I get the argument. It's the same with our
And
whatnot
the
stuff,
same thing.
right?
Like, I kind of hate the like any argument that's like we give stuff away so we're good people because
No,
you're
no,
not giving stuff
yeah,
away because you're a good person. You're giving stuff away because it's extra views or extra people to come in or an extra razzle dazzle incentive for someone to
no,
buy packs,
which
etc. So
like,
like
well, again, that's why I was saying
it's all
for like our
factored
eBay
in. It's a
account, like when
business.
when like with our whatnot, I agree with you 100%, right? If someone doesn't get a hit and you give them a
Hmm.
free pack, you're not being sincere. You just don't want them to leave. You want them to keep buying. But for
Yeah.
like eBay and the reason I was using eBay as an example is because like someone just messaged when he bought the order, he just told us his daughter's favorite card is Pikachu, so we threw in an extra Pikachu card. Like we had a slab lying around, so we
Hmm.
added one into the order, right? Like, our logic going forward has just been to be a genuine positive force in the community. If you watch any of our past streams and go through our channel, you'll see we're trying to be like a positive, genuine force. Like we don't do pool games anymore. We think they're really unethical and weird. Um, I think they're predatory. I don't. We just do breaks now. Because it's just like to give you an example, we did a pool game of Scarlet and Violet, right? So we went live to do a break on Scarlet and Violet, and it didn't work. We can't be competitive with people that have Japanese connections because like they can buy the box for 85. I'm buying it for 130. There's margins just not there. So we ended the stream and went live again and did a pool game. The only way we could really do it would be if like one third of the pools were five commons, right? And the other two thirds were the other hits. We did that stream for 20 minutes. Some people bought them and went, "This is kind of bullshit that I'm paying, $2, right?" And that was the poll. It was $2, and I just got five commons. And my response to that was, "I think you're right." We offered full refunds on join the live stream. We admitted wrong. We said, "So sorry. Do you want a refund?" And then on top of that, when the guys said no, that the two guys that bought from us didn't want refunds, we sent them like 7 packs each, right? And we sent them like 7 packs to make up the market value if they went into Walmart or Target or a card shop of what they pay because they didn't want a refund from us. We said, "You want Lost Origins or Silver Tempest?" So again, my take is, and it's kind of where I'm at is just if people think we're scummy or predatory, like I get it, man. I respect it. Like
I
those
mean,
emails
like
don't push the boxes,
even
like
then, like I mean, there's always just like it could have, and like if you guys decide to send me the footage, if you decide you want to talk to me again, sleep on it. If it was
I
just like
mean, I
if it
know.
was like a lapse in judgment kind of thing, and like it was just kind of like a sketchy little, hey, can I get something back from
Like
from boxes that probably weren't all that bad if you guys don't want to show them to me.
again, my take here is
And then
I'm not. Again, my take is, it's the boxes had no ults, were missing top hits. They had, I think the top card that got pulled in the entire night was the Pikachu VMAX with Red and Pikachu
mhm.
from Trainer Gallery, and that's not a bad card. That's a mid tier hit, and I think that's like
Well,
one of
it's
the top
probably
Trainer
more
Gallery hits.
expensive than anything other than the ultimates.
Um,
It might even be
no,
more expensive than
Aerodactyl and Tina. Aerodactyl's
Aerodactyl and Tina,
112,
like the
Tina's
like the full art
260,
ones.
like the ult arts, and then I think Berserker and Rotom as well. Any of the ults, effectively.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again,
But like
you my
beyond that is what I mean. Like anything outside of
yeah.
the
So like
alts
so
is
like we
probably the
saw.
most expensive hit.
Like I think what was common was like we saw a lot of VMAXs from trainer galleries, mid-tier trainer gallery hits. Like we didn't hit any low trainer galleries. We did
Mhm.
just hit the it was pretty much like trainer galleries, but the actual, I don't know the name for it. If it's not trainer gallery, the actual set list, the 160, the 1 to 160, 162, whatever Lost Origins number is, they were mid-tier hits. But I mean, again, man, I get the argument. My take is really simple, and it's
Yeah.
where we're at. Where it's like if people don't trust us, we'll earn back that trust. We didn't. We've done absolutely nothing on any of our platforms that have ripped off customers that have bought from us. We've been really upfront about it. We've sent things. We've apologized to people. We like when we started our mailing system, the way we were mailing cards wasn't perfect because we didn't have a ton of experience in that category. So we changed that. We upgrade, we paid more money, we use certain cardboard things now to send it. We try and stay really above the board and transparent with how we do everything. Because obviously we're trying to build something here. So, like again, our take is, we're happy to earn people's trust back. If some people perceive it and go, these guys are fucking scummy pieces of shits. Um, I mean, we'll just try and earn their trust back. Obviously, if people have lost their trust with us, we're a small channel. We sent an email and we sent an email that was pissed off and angry because we felt like we'd just been, wronged. We didn't like the response we got. I think we overplayed our hand a little bit too aggressive because we were pretty pissed and upset. Once cooler heads prevailed, we took a step back and let it go. And that's where we're at. I said in the email every single time I didn't believe they had malice intent. and I mean, I
Yeah,
stand
that's
by
it,
that.
like that's the whole thing. Like the entire context lays on like how bad the boxes were, and no one can tell at this point how
I
bad the
mean,
boxes were.
the biggest outlier wasn't even. Let's say every single pack had a Giratina Ultard in, right? That wasn't the claim. The claim was the
Yeah.
packs were resealed, and that was
Okay.
that was that
But
was
they
that
were
was the.
resealed with hits.
But that's but my point here is if you were, let's say you
But
were reselling
if
product.
you're gonna slap glue all over it, you're probably gonna take all the
But
hits. I
like
would think.
my
Like
issue here is
it's
my
gonna
issue
make
is
your
with
time
Log.
even less valuable if you're gonna take out like what, one or two alt arts.
But my issue here is with your logic, right? Is in Pokemon sets, there's only really two cards that are worth anything. That'll sell easily and that will sell for high markups. The rest of the cards aren't really worth a lot of money. You'll struggle to sell them. You might grade them. It depends. You know, Beckett, PSA, CGC tend to grade certain cards harder versus others. Realistically, if you were going to reseal a product, what two cards out of Lost Origins would you remove out of Silver Tempest and
Yeah,
Stars
but it's
Evolving
just
Skies versus which ones
the
wouldn't you
amount of
remove? You
time that
wouldn't
it would
remove
take
every
to
hit.
find them.
And
Like
again, that's
even Silver Tempest, I think I opened 16 booster boxes worth of packs. I hit one Lugia. That's it. No other
which
alt
again,
arts. But like
that might be the case.
sometimes you get like 3 per case.
Yeah,
Sometimes you get
we
0
literally
per case. So like
we
it's
literally 2 nights ago we opened Silver Tempest and pulled 3 Lugias in the night, right? Like again, I that's why we didn't go crazy public with it. There's no TikTok. I can't say definitively either way. You know, we were pissed, sent angry emails in the span of like a day, not even a day, like 6 hours. Um, you know, and then once we cool heads prevailed and we took a step back, our take was, okay, let's just let it go and move forward. You know, obviously I get what your job is. You're exposing people and stuff. So I got no beef with it, man. Like, you know, obviously you're doing the community a service because you're exposing pieces of shit. If we look like we're in a negative light, I'm confident that we'll earn people's trust back. You know, we've tried to be really genuine and honest. You know, there's even when we have miscommunications, sometimes we had so people a lot on whatnot don't send bulk because then you have to increase the weight per package on shipping. So we don't send bulk, and some people don't read like the items descriptions, even though it says just the hits or they've never bought and whatnot. And we've mailed bulk to them on our own money. We've packaged sent. We've refunded. We've done a million things. We've again like we all have a lot of experience in customer service. So 9 times out of 10, just making the customer happy is just the better option than getting flogged by something. Um, and that's kind of our take. Again, you know, I think it's unfortunate. You know, we stand by the claim that like we didn't reseal, we didn't mess with anything, we weren't looking for a free dinner. We were just in a really tight spot that we hadn't been in before. I don't think we handled the emails as best as we could have. I respect my business partner's decision. That is, let's just drop this, move forward. If we lose people's trust, then we'll earn it back because we're not doing anything sketchy. And to that extent, I say, yeah. I mean, we're not doing anything sketchy, so let's just keep chugging. And you know, if we lose people's trust, we'll just gain it back. Because again, like we've been running an eBay, we've been running a whatnot. You know, we have a TikTok. We try and do the most genuine things we can do. And that's kind of where we land on. You know, we could have done things better, sure. I think Over the Brick could have done some things better, sure. Um, but you know, I don't think my response is I think emails were sent when they were overly upset, but the claims we made in those emails that were the glue and packs were missing cards were our two big things. Maybe they were error packs that none of them had hollows. I'm curious to see if they had any of the boxes left that they didn't sell that maybe they opened and checked out and went, that's weird, there's no hollows. Or, yeah, there's this foreign substance on it. Because, again, I doubt they only had 2 boxes.
that's the thing too. Like if they sold, even if they got those other cases back, if they sold any of the boxes from any of that order, like someone's gonna notice the glue,
And
they're
that's
gonna
and again,
notice.
that
They're
might be
gonna
fair.
notice if there's just no hits in it whatsoever. If somebody buys a
Which
booster
again,
box,
might be fair. Or, I mean, you said it earlier, there's a chance you don't notice. You open 16 and pull 0 Lugias. I mean, sometimes it's just odds. Again, I think it could have just been resale. It could have been a million things, which is why we didn't go public. It's why we didn't make 10 TikToks. It's why we didn't do this. It's why we didn't do that. I get where you're coming from. Because we're not showing our entire hand, it makes you question what are you hiding? I mean, again, like I think everything you're saying is completely valid. Like I got nothing but respect for what you do, man. Like, I think you're exposing pieces of shit. If the light you shine on us is that we're a piece of shit, then that's the light you shine on us. I don't. Hopefully, we have the opportunity to earn people's trust back, but we're not in the market of being predatory pieces of shit. We're just not. We have no track record of refunds with anywhere else. Even if you reached out to Safari Zone or whatever, like we don't. We've never refund. We've never even sent across email to most of the places we buy from. You know, that's kind of where we land. I get where you're coming from.
But that's the
I
thing too.
do.
Like, if you didn't end up with a box that was kind of weird, then maybe you don't send that email. Maybe you don't
Yeah,
look for
I
that
mean,
refund. And
and again, that's where we're at. Like we don't. Here's my logic is we have no track record of this. If you reached out to Safari Zone and 3G, and you said, you know, I'm doing a study. This place did this. I don't know if they've released that information to you. I've no idea. But our answer is really simple. We have no track record of issuing or requesting a single refund anywhere. We're just not in the market of doing that. Why would you put egg on your face to every other company and no one wants to do business with you or sell to you? Obviously, that's not what we're trying to do.
mm,
But I mean, I get what you're doing, man. You're exposing pieces of shit. I kind of wish there was more of you, especially over on Whatnot. We stream over there, and there's a lot of practices that fucking drive me crazy. Whether it's
that's the problem with
selling,
Whatnot is I get a lot of complaints from Whatnot, but I can't get the footage from Whatnot because it's poof gone. And is Whatnot going to release it? No, probably not if it's not your footage. So then
yeah. I mean,
shady dude that is selling the same card multiple times can do
I
so,
mean, I wish you could sell it. I
etc.
do wish, I wish Twitch or YouTube Gaming or something would have a platform where you could stream on and have growth. To be transparent, I wish there was other options. The reason we use Whatnot is really simple. There's that, or I think is it called Candy or something? The one Leonhardt's a partner with or
The
something.
Red
I don't know
Candy
the
one.
Rare
Yeah.
Candy. You really only have
And
two options where you can go.
doesn't you can
Um,
do it on drip or whatever too.
oh yeah, we actually do get emails from Drip. Our take is really simple. It's really hard to go other places. We try to be really transparent with everyone. Obviously, if you're still keeping up with the channel, March 17th is when we're giving away a black label, and you'll see how we run those giveaways, how we run the things, the way we do it. It's all really transparent. We try and keep things as above board as possible, even in the stake of running three or four. Like we run the wheel three fucking times. Um, and we even take criticism sometimes when it's wrong, but we listen. Like statistically speaking, on a wheel spin, if if I separate your name into 30 chunks, or if it's all one chunk, you have the same statistical chance of hitting. It doesn't change anything on how statistics work. But some people complain that their name wasn't 30 tickets versus being valued at 30% of what out of the 100 tickets. So we did it. We fixed it because it's just sometimes it's easier just to not to have a fight over something, but to go, all right, man, I get it. So again, I'll take it as really simple. You know, our knowledge to over the brick is I don't think they had malice intent. I think we didn't handle the situation as good as we could have handled it. If we lose people's trust, hopefully we gain it back. I'm gonna be completely transparent with you. I think there's a lot of shitty people and whatnot. I don't think that's
There
Whatnot's
is,
fault.
and there are
100%.
definitely people that are doing far worse than even anything that was said or potentially done here.
And I will
But like
say, in
that's the
one
thing.
regard to
Like
Whatnot,
I make videos too on just like people that break into game stores. It's not gonna get many views, but like the odd chance of someone being like able to identify that person
fair.
is
Yeah.
it's,
I mean, again,
it
I
should be
checked I
done.
checked out your channel because I had to call my co-host to come upstairs for the stream. I checked, I looked it up. I think what you're doing is awesome. I know I thought it was funny when you said don't call me the Keemstar Pokemon, but I do think
Oh
that the
yeah,
community does need like obviously every now and again we see the videos like there's a few practices we despise with a passion. Mystery boxes where it's like on Amazon you see like the little treasure trove mystery boxes that are everywhere that have like just commons for $20 that parents buy for their kids for Christmas,
yeah.
and
I
it's
don't
just
know. I
tiny
just
commons for
in
horror.
mystery stuff in general, like even the honest stuff or what you would consider the more above board honest stuff, like there's some really bad crap, and like, it's the same thing as like a platform that allows like games of chance or anything like that. Like uh, I have something that I'm looking into now that's just like a dude that was getting people to send in cards and then selling those same cards back to them in mystery products or like selling mystery products that you don't even have the product for, and then
Yeah.
they don't get shipped out, and then they can't find the product, or like, and it just ends up being all garbage, and like it's just, I don't know. It's not that it can't be an honest practice. I just think it's unnecessary and it's too easy to be a dishonest one.
To be skewed. I mean, again, and I don't. I think if somebody came out and built a better system, I think we'd look at it. I think we'd go for it. We welcome one up for the opportunity. Obviously, I do think there's growing pains. Like they only just added the feature. I don't know if you've seen it. 'Cause I'm guessing you don't stream on it. But before, when you run giveaways, you used to be able to just sit there with the giveaway running, right? No timer. So you could just say you're running a giveaway for an hour and not run it. Versus now, when you click the button, it auto starts a timer and after 5 minute pulls. That's an awesome feature. Why wasn't that there from the start? The moderation tools, horrendous.
Well, maybe it
People
takes like people to abuse it before they actually implement anything,
literally like, the amount of
or
like
before
7-year-olds
people give them crap about it.
like the amount of people that join our streams and will spam the N word like once a week. You'll have a child that and obviously, Whatnot's chat features dictate stopping you from doing certain things. But like put an at in the word, and all of a sudden Whatnot doesn't register it. Huh? You
Yeah.
even type something as slightly associated in uh in Twitch and it catches it immediately. So like again, I think Whatnot's just not as far as advanced as some of the other streaming platforms that I do wish had, I wish it caught up. But unfortunately, there's just not many alternatives if you're trying to get into this space. Like I'm not PokeRev, I can't be PokeRev. Um, but one thing we are trying to do, because one of my partners, he used to buy from a TikTok stream. I don't know the name of them, but they're like the biggest one. They have like two channels that are live 24/7. They do like the whip and ships. Um, and he approached us and was like, "What if we did something like this?" And we were like, "We can give it a go." But we all said when we went into this was, "Let's build something genuine and honest." And if you comb through the 400 hours we've been live, we say it so regularly. We're just trying to build something that's genuine and legitimate. So if we hurt our trust or we look stupid in this situation, it just be what it be. Like we'll learn it back. We'll do better. Um, it sucks that Over the Brick felt like we might be scamming artists. That wasn't our intention. But again, I think it was just shitty. It was shitty communication on our part, an unfortunate situation. Everything that went wrong. That could go wrong, and then it be what it be. But again, when you reached out, there's a reason why like I didn't have an issue with like talking to you and stuff. Like the smartest thing for us to do would have just say nothing, ignore it, and move. But like that's not our goal. We genuinely want to build a genuine community. There were so many streams and whatnot that do so many stupid, shitty things. Whether it's their thumbnails, whether it's the practices they're using, the items they're selling. I stand by this, and it's my biggest gripe on whatnot is the CGC versus PSA versus Beckett. The average streamer is buying bundles of CGC graded slabs, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
doing like those slab pulls for $50, and the slabs are most of the slabs are worth $5. There's no moderation on Whatnot's part of monitoring. You know how on if you do a mystery item, you have to list the floor if you've custom made it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no moderation on that. There are people that claim that something's worth $50 and it's worth. You look at it on eBay and it's worth $6.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the
So
same thing with like a lot of the mystery products. Like even like the rare candy boxes, they were claiming that it had like a floor of like $50 or something, 40 or $50, and it was like just the junkiest of junk slab, like dollar card in a CGC
I
case
mean,
or in a
I'm
low
I'm
grade
sure you
PSA
saw
or
it.
whatever,
I'm sure you saw it because
and
your
three
head's in the
modern
space.
packs. But
Do you remember Leonhardt's box where you got like a custom card and like his card signed? I saw someone opening up that and saying the floor was like, this isn't right. You look up the card like this isn't like again. I think mystery items are an inherent gamble. We're doing iconic mystery boxes because obviously we've seen YouTubers open them and stuff. We'd open
mhm.
some personally, and if I'm being transparent with you, I think like they do a lot of variations. We just do the top end ones because worst case scenario, you get a Wizards of the Coast pack that if you just sit on for a couple of years or whatever you do with it, grade it, authenticate it, it will appreciate in value. We're not buying the ones that are like $60 where it's maybe you get a base set Shadowless pack or you're probably going to get Sword and Shield base set because
Yeah,
you're just pissed.
there's a certain amount of swing within them, and then that's the thing too. It's just like if it's not totally transparent with what you can get and what the odds are of getting certain things.
Yeah, and
then
that's one thing I will say that's why we actually
I
we're doing
mean,
another stream
normally
this
there's going
Thursday.
to be a bunch of money baked into it that the expected value is going to be less than the actual price of whatever it is. But then there's also like,
Yeah,
is it a vintage pack? Is it a weighed vintage pack?
that is one thing I will
And
say.
like,
We offered the ability to weigh on our stream when we did the mysteries. Half of them
mhm,
were heavy, half of them were light. It was actually Pokeweb's mystery boxes he does,
yeah,
mystery pouches. We bought some in the past and like they were. I mean, I'm not blaming Pokeweb. I think we just got unlucky, but they were all light. But the iconic mystery boxes were really cool. They weren't all heavy. Most of them were heavy. Someone got a base set pack that was like the max heaviness it could be. It was like
yeah.
when we
There's a
looked it up.
lot of
So
those
like,
sets. Base set, not so much, but like, I think some of the Neo sets are really hard to weigh unless you have the entire box.
which is, I mean, again, I'm not gonna lie. Like I know the whole point of this was something else, but it is kind of cool talking to you because I can tell that you're like, like it's cool. Again, man, I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate us having this
Yeah,
conversation. I'm
you
sure you
know,
have a million better things to
Just
do than talk to me for
talk
like,
talk to me for 2 hours.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like, I mean, again, man, like I
yeah.
know I sound like a nerd, but like it's cool. It's really. Me and my friends have grew up watching the Call of Duty YouTubers. Like we grew up
Mm.
watching White Boy 7th Street and all those and stuff, and then we moved on to like, I watched a lot of Rooster Teeth before they all turned out to be, pedophiles and shit, and like awful racist people. But like I grew up watching that, watching that stuff, and then we ended this space, and we just were like, we're just gonna have two viewers. We're gonna be such dickheads doing nothing, and we've grown a community, and like getting on a Discord call with you and with your fucking dope ass mic that I've looked at like 50
This is
times.
not a good way to get on a Discord call with me.
I
Anyone,
mean, this is
I have like a voice chat every Saturday that you can talk to me, but typically it's not a good idea for me to want to call because it's suspicious what you're doing.
I mean, again, that's fair. Like, obviously, I'm just trying to look for the bright side and all this, and like, obviously, like,
Mm.
it's serious. Like, I get where you've come from, and I think you've levied, like, we're gonna learn from a lot of this. My friend's mom is like this like, picture like a Southern Christian lady, like big, short, blonde hair. She used to always say everything's either a lesson or a blessing. I guess this is just going to be a lesson for us. Like we didn't handle things as good as we should have handled things. We obviously didn't go out with the intent to do things, but obviously, I get everything you've said and everywhere you've come from. I really do. I appreciate. I don't know how these calls usually go. If people are like, "Fuck you, man! I'm gonna sue you. You're a lying piece of
Um,
shit." I don't.
usually, I mean, the last one, I guess one of the ones with the whatnot stuff, I guess whatnot related was Pokeveda, and that was he's something. I don't know if you've heard of that
I
individual,
haven't.
but yeah, he ended
Are
up
they not? Are they
he ended up
doing
getting banned. He was harassing people in DMs. He was like shill bidding people's auctions and then like messaging them afterwards, telling them to cancel, and he was just trying to save them. So like without their knowledge, like shelling up their stuff and then asking for refunds
it?
and then like just
Oh.
completely batshit crazy and yeah.
I just feel like you probably have a. I mean, again, I don't know. Like, you have like this. You seem like a really chill guy. I really fucking like your hoodie. Um, I don't, I don't know,
Do
man.
you know what
I
it's
say,
from?
it's not Fate, is it? It's not Evangelion.
No, it's
What is
hookups.
it? Okay. I'm a massive. I actually have on my top
Yeah.
sleeve. I have like an anime mural on my. Again,
So
you just seem
skateboard
like a.
company from the '90s, maybe too older of a reference for you. Popular, I
Again,
guess,
man.
not from the '90s, but popular in the '90s.
You seem. I was gonna say, but you don't look that old. Um, you seem like a really chill guy. I appreciate
You
so
don't
much
have
you're
to
doing. If we
compliment me
end up
now to get like it's not a it's,
dude, I'm gonna be transparent with you. We are well aware. You'll make a video. We'll look like assholes. We'll have to earn people's trust back. But my
yes,
take on this
but
is really
also
simple.
I'm gonna let you go. But reach out to me if you change your mind on any of it. If I can see the
Okay.
footage, and it if we just got to change the entire direction of this, if it was just an oopsie doopsie, we shouldn't have been like trying to get a refund for something that
I mean,
wasn't that defective.
I mean, our take is simple. I think like again on the record. I think like talking with you and rashing out. I think we were overzealous. I think we were upset and frustrated. I think we thought they might be resealed, and I think we were dickheads. And I think that's pretty much where the story ends for us. I think we could have handled it better. I don't think we handled it as quite as well. Um, you know, were they resealed? Were they errors? I like I don't. I don't know. I'm not educated enough on this area remotely. Um, again, our take is like, you're gonna make the story you're gonna make, and like, even if in a day or a week someone comes on our channel and goes, "Fuck you guys, you're scammers and stuff," well, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "That Rattle guy's a fucking dick." I'm gonna be like, "Hey man, I appreciate that was what you got from it. It wasn't, you know, I'm sorry." Like that's kind of our take where things fall. I think there's a lot of scummy people and whatnot. I think it's unfortunate that we're trying to do something genuine, yet we've ended up live light. But I think that when you're doing something genuine and doing something real, as long as we keep doing what we're doing and trying to be genuine, then everything should just fall into place. We're not trying to be like scumbags, cheating assholes. We're just trying to be, whatever. So again, where we're at and where our take is just, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, keep being genuine, and keep trying to run something proper. And hopefully, what our regulars and everyone else who joins our stream, our community, will be able to vouch for us when that happens. That we've just tried to do, keep everything above the board through this entire time. Um, we sent a couple weeks ago. One of our regulars is a massive book fan, and for college, I wrote a book report, and he was like, "That book sounds interesting," and I just sent him the book with his order. Like, we really tried to foster an awesome community, and it's not. I get you. I feel like you deal with probably some of the worst. So like, I get you're on this. Your perspective is it's valid because of who you about the people you deal with. All I can hope is that going forward, that like the relationships we've fostered in our community will be loud enough that people, will.
Oh, I think I lost you.
I do appreciate you reaching out. Oh,
Oh,
can you hear me?
you good? Yeah. Yeah, I lost you for a second there. You cut out.
It's probably like I said, our Wi-Fi is not great. Again, I appreciate what you do, man. I think you're doing a community a service. I do ask, if you when you run this story and stuff, is just we really do mean it. I don't think they had any malice intent. Whether they were resealed, error box, or whatever they were, we don't want egg on over the we don't want egg on over the brick's face, because that was never our intent. We were frustrated, upset in the moment. We could have handled things better, but there's a store with people that work there, that a community. There's not enough card shops as it stands in like, there just isn't. It's hard enough to find product without having to buy them here or there or whatever. So the worst thing we can really get out of here is that Over the Brick ends up looking like assholes, or in any way people, and obviously if people ask us about us, that'll be our response. They're not. It was an unfortunate situation that just played out. But that's kind of where, I mean, I'll let you go. I'm sure you have a bunch of stuff to do, but if I doubt my partners will change their mind. I get where they're coming from. I mean, we're gonna try to respect everyone's side.
Open offer.
Yeah, man, and I appreciate it.
And if there's anything that you guys need to add, that you need to, again, I will gladly look at the footage to get a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, if you end up making a video about it, feel free to shoot me a DM, because I'd love to watch it. I think it'll be cool to have 30 seconds of internet fame and look like dickheads. Unfortunately,
people only joke about that. You shouldn't joke about the like.
But,
I'm gonna doing something bad. Ending up on
no, like obviously, it's more in the sense that, like, again, man, I think what you're doing is a community service, so I have absolutely no beef with it. I think it's unfortunate, and hopefully we'll gain people's trust back, but it'll be what it be. But at the end of the day, man, I think what you're doing is, even if I feel like, I wish I could show you more, I wish we could do more, I think what you're doing is a community service. So even if I feel like when it comes to this story, you might not get the full picture from our perspective, that's on us, that's our fault. And I think you do a lot of, it's obviously you're doing a lot of good for the community. You're spending your own personal time trying to get rid of pieces of shit. So again, when it comes to
I still make money off ad revenue, but
it's actually not a thing.
I waste a lot of time with scammers.
Like, again, I think you're doing a lot of good, man, and I kind of wish there were bigger channels like you that could expose the big channels that are taking the piss. So, we have no. I got no ill will, man. If you, whatever story you're gonna run, whatever the tone or whatever the perspective is, I got nothing but love, and I think you're doing a service. Like, I'm not kissing your ass because you're about to win a story.
Yes,
you have the facts, man. I know. I'm not. I know the story, and I know the story, and I know the perspective. I know the evidence. I know we're gonna look like idiots, but even if we look like idiots, man, I still think you're doing the community a service. So that doesn't change my opinion on it. Like it just be what it be, man. Hopefully we have the opportunity to earn people's back. Like I'm hoping whatnot, like, again, it'll be where it be's. And we'll go from there. Like again, we don't, I don't have this negative take or this negative perspective. I think things are what they are, but for lack of better terms, like I don't want to say shrug, but I think I hope we have the opportunity that we'll be able to, you know, earn our community trust back. I will ask. I assume you're going to talk to Over the Brick one more time, right?
Yeah, I can talk to them again.
Yeah, just I hope you can
I
relate
have to
like the
look at.
sentiment
There's a couple other things that they brought up as well, which I think are unrelated to themselves. But
with us or
that's what
just
I
in
was.
general.
That's mostly what I was doing today. I was going through DMs, and some of them
Okay.
are spam. Some of them are pretty pointless. Like, hey, I think this person's a scammer, and that's it. but other times people have like valid things that I think are extremely useful. So I try
If
to
you
get through all of those.
yeah, if you could speak to them again, just letting them know that like, hey, we have no intentions of like going anywhere. The email we sent didn't mean the first one didn't mean to have some crazy tone. We were frustrated and upset, and I mean, I'm not gonna
Hmm.
repeat everything, but you kind of get the gist of what I've said. If you could relay that back to them, it's appreciated. Because again, and I do stand by this. I don't want them to get any negative things because let's say we're wrong. Let's say it wasn't resealed and we overreacted and we're stupid. I get it. They're like, it's going to be a store that someone owns, that feeds families, that has employees. I'm just not trying to be that guy. It's not worth it. We're probably not going to be the next PokeRev. We're not. So like, if everything fails, we have to restart or whatever. We're not the next PokeRev. All my partners, we have like college degrees. We're going on to secondary schools and stuff. Like, we're not. You get what I'm saying? Like, this isn't. I'm not trying to mess up
Hmm.
someone's life. It's just not right. So again, if you could relay the message to them, or what we said, or what I said tonight, it'd be appreciated. But again, hopefully all that's good. If they want to email us again and have us get and hop on a phone call with me, I don't have an issue with that. If they want to squash this behind doors or talk about it some more, even if you want to be a part of it, I don't have any issue with that like whatsoever. Um, Obviously they're probably busy or they're like fuck these guys. All's really valid. Um,
Probably both.
Yeah, honestly, very fair, very valid. Nothing was handled well, and I feel like I don't feel like, and maybe it's biased. I don't feel like either party handled it as well as it could have been handled. Um, but also, I get it. Like I get it. So, I mean, I'll let you go, man. It was fun talking to you for 2 hours, though. You seem like a really chill guy. I know it's again. I know you're probably
Thanks.
thinking I'm sucking it from the back because I'm trying to get a good story. I'm not. I genuinely think you're doing a good service. Even if you're about to go at a video that says, "Bro, these guys are the biggest piece of shit ever," I promise you, we'll still leave a like.
I don't know about that, but all right. I'm gonna let you go. And again, I'll touch base with you, sleep on it, and then even if you decide, or if you guys decide that we don't want to do anything further with the footage, or if you don't need to add anything, then
Right.
then I'll touch base with you tomorrow, regardless about it. So chat
Right.
with them,
Sounds good, man.
figure out what's going on. Talk to you
All
later.
right. See you.
Bye.